Step in to the outside in. It is so good to be here with you this morning. Beyond stoked to be here. We have been writing so much. This past weekend, we were at a writing retreat in New Orleans. I was with my writing workshop. We've been meeting every Wednesday night, 8:30 to 10 p.m., sharing our writing, getting after it with our projects. There is one other fantasy writer in the group, but it's all kinds of writing. Some people teaching math, some people doing Indian cookbooks. For me, I've been writing this mythology, and we really did a terrific job writing all week in the thick of it, and finishing a version of this mythology that I'm extraordinarily proud of. So let's explain it. When I'm doing writing, I look at it there's three types of drafts. The first draft is the vomit draft. You just get it. You just sit down. You just get it out there. You just spew. You need to get to the end. It's unbelievable. It's impossible to see what you have until you've gotten to the end. So that's the first part, the vomit draft. The second one is the reader draft, right? And this is for those who are going to give you the benefit of the doubt. This is for your friends who've been asking for pages. This is to collect that initial bit of feedback, to be sharing. And then finally, you have the hater draft. And that's where we are at right now, which is for the most cynical readers who don't know you, making sure that it's so clean, so tight, and getting that last bit of feedback to get it ready for the final, where it's no longer a draft and it's really just some writing that is ready to go live. So we are here. So what project have we been working on? Let's check in. It's called A Mother, right? So this is a seven age creation mythology. This is an original cosmogonic myth that I've written. Cosmogonic meaning creation of the cosmos. And we have created the cosmos, and we're going to get all the way to Earth, her moon, her molten core, her solar orbit, in around 1,600 words, less than that. So that's around the length of the Cat in the Hat, for an example. And today, what we're going to be doing, since I've finished it, I really have. I'm really feeling quite strong about it. We're going to be reading through the entire thing today and reading it out loud for the first time in this hater draft format, doing the final bit of polish. These are poems, and poems are meant to be read. And I'm going to be hitting the streets of New York City, reading poetry, bringing these live, bringing this mythology live. And so we're going to be practicing here today. We're going to be identifying different moments that sound clunky as they come out of my mouth, and then we're going to be refining those together. And I am again presenting. So today I'm going to be presenting. We're going to be working on it. I'm presenting for my writing workshop tomorrow, and then after that, I'm going to be trying to send it over to my poetry professor from Vanderbilt University, Lisa Dortle. Shout out Lisa Dortle, my poetry professor from Vanderbilt, who I hope will give some terrific feedback. And once we're there, we're just wrapping it up. And when you want to think about, okay, how does this work ultimately manifest? So there's two ways. So first off, this is the creation mythology for a fantasy world. So it is their core mythology for how their world was created, for how their universe was architected, and what humanity's role is in it. In addition, I'm going to be creating what's called an illuminated manuscript. I don't expect any. Jesse Matthew, morning, insiders. You are up bright and early, Jesse Matthew. It's so good to have you here. We're going to have a huge session today. I'm really, really excited to share with the insiders who've been following along. Emily Hellman, good morning. Step in, both of you. We've got a huge session today. So I was explaining the way that this is going to manifest this project now that we're wrapping up here. So we have our poetry. We have 7 myths, 7 poems that create one myth. We're going to be creating an illuminated manuscript. So what does that mean? It means you're really just drawing all over it. I don't know if you've seen any of those old English manuscripts where the first letter kind of has a box and it's all designed quite elegantly, quite beautifully. That's what we're going to be going for. I'm starting to look for artists. I'm starting to look. I already have a publisher in mind, and it's going to be a limited edition sort of art book, signed by me, etc. And so we'll have a product. We'll finally have something that we can sell. Best promotion on streamboo.org. Okay, that's a chat. We don't need a robot from Twitch. What's up, Mr. Robot from Twitch? So yeah, we're going to be reading today some of these earlier ones you guys have read already, and so we'll try to move quickly past them, and then we're going to get into the new stuff. It's a level of polish you haven't seen yet here, team. We've been writing a lot. It's been really quite raw. You know, we have gone through the vomit and the reader drafts already, and we are now on our hater drafts. And when it comes to a hater draft, this means that you readers, insiders, especially Jesse and Emily, this is where feedback really comes in, where you think about yourself as like the most cynical possible reader, and not knowing me, not giving me the benefit of the doubt, maybe even thinking my face is a little funky and wanting me to fail. Like, that's the sort of feedback that we're going for. This is that last bit, pushing before the finish line. So we are going to jump in here to our first myth, A Dark. Remember, we have it's roughly the length of a Cat in the Hat, the whole mythology. So this is not so long, but some of these I've never read aloud properly before. It's going to be the first one on the 6 and 7. I've never read aloud properly. They were too clunky to read then. So we're going to dive in. A Dark by E.I. Werner. A dark, a one and only, a one, alone, still, a dark, a one and only, all one, alone, still, a dark, a one and only, all one, alone, still, a dark. So this one has been in hater draft for several weeks now. This is about undifferentiated darkness. There's no verbs in this myth. Nothing happens, nothing changes. This is that void before singularity. And for those people who are a member of the Innsider Telegram community, this is related to what we, the insight that went out today, or should I have, I didn't check my phone, which is to say that we are having a full-blown void, darkness, before there's any sort of divine, before anything is created, there is a nothing. And so God is not first here, nothing is first here. And that's an important distinction when you're talking about cosmogonies. I know it seems a little bit trivial, but it actually is not. And so we are starting not with God, we're starting with nothing. And that is actually quite unique. Let's keep cruising. Please feel free to chime in. I think moving after we get through the first, since this one, I'm not really looking for feedback on this one. I will give opportunities. Actually, we'll open it up after moving forward on the rest of these myths, or the rest of these poems, for feedback, hater level feedback on them. Anything that's not hitting, anything that sounds clunky in your ear, anything that is confusing. That's what we want to hear today. We're going for it. So first myth was A Dark. The next one is called A Light, and I think it's a little implied what's going to be happening here. So we ended this one with A Dark, and this one begins. A Light by E.I. Werner. At once, I am a light, a light, a light, epicenity itself. I come from a dark. My form is fire white, all fire, only white. A light is beauty. A light loves to be, a light loves to become, every light, all lights. A light severs 1 to 2. A light severs before to after. A light severs a dark to a darkness. A darkness yearns to be a one and only. A darkness yearns to become a darker, a darkest, a dark. A darkness devours fire white. A darkness darkens. A darkness devours beauty. A darker, a darkest. A darkness devours a light. A seed. A dark. A one and only. All one. Alone. Still. All right, so remember that we'll unpack it here, and I'm going to give you a bit of a moment to provide any sort of feedback, what you like, what you didn't like. So we have a darkness, and then at once there's a sudden emergence, and you'll find that that is monomythic, that the God doesn't create himself in stages. The divine doesn't create itself in stages. It is a sudden emergence. And we are talking about epicenity itself, right? So this is both and neither gender. It indicates a sort of mythic completeness. You're not half of the spectrum. You are the whole spectrum. Comes from a dark, obviously. My form is fire white. So we are saying that later, right, we have Earth as our protagonist. You're going to see, obviously, her form is water's blue. Here is fire white, and we're going to have that mirrored. All fire, only white. When she compares herself to a sun later, she's going to, be really envious of the fact that a light is all of something. It's only something. It's impenetrably one-dimensional, and a light is beauty. So a light loves to be, a light loves to become. Here we're talking about a light's nature, and you're going to see that we have gone back, and in these next couple myths, you'll see that you're going to see what everybody loves. Each one of these different celestial beings is going to have different things that they're going to love, and it's going to be based on this one, and it's always going to be a little bit different. So you're going to see, based on how a daughter loves, it's going to be slightly different than a light, right? But we're introducing this concept of explaining the nature of different beings. And when we look at a light loves versus yearns, right, things that are dark adjacent, those are going to be yearning based versus loving based, right? So, and that's a very, very different thing. There's a hunger, and then there's a love, and those are very different things. So when a light comes into existence, before there was nothing, and we call that singularity of nothing a dark. Here we're talking about once a light emerges, once it enters into the game, it severs that dark, that singularity, into duality, right? So now you have a darkness, which is slightly less dark than a dark, and you have light. And as a result, you also get before and after. You also get time, because prior to this, in the undifferentiated darkness, nothing is happening, no time is passing. There's nothing to determine what time is, and so a light's emergence is actually a bit of a severance from singularity to duality. The first complexity that emerges is 1 to 2. But we can see that a darkness is not happy about that at all. And it wants to return to being a darkness, a one and only. And so it devours a light, and that's a black hole, right? So in our cosmogonic myth, it doesn't go light into Big Bang. There's light into black hole, into a primordial seed, a primordial atom here at the center of that black hole, keeping in mind that there is a singularity at the centers of black holes, a compression, infinitely compressed. And when you are infinitely compressed and in a tighter space, you actually increase the heat within it. So because it has less room to move. And we are ending this myth with a darkness. So we have actually returned to a very similar way that we're ending here, except that we are ending on a stillness instead of ending with the completion. It's almost a little bit open-ended. And so that is a light. That is our second poem here, second of 7. And please go ahead and provide any sort of feedback that you have on that, what you like, what you didn't like. Feel free to. Obviously, if you're just chilling, you're working on your own projects, there's no need to. But this is an exercise for me to read, but also to collect feedback from all of y'all. But when you are giving it, please pretend today. Remember, this is a hater draft now. This is not a reader draft. Don't give feedback as if you are my friend. Give it the best way you could give feedback is to be very honest, because we're all here in service of the work. We're not here in service of me. We're here in service of the work, trying to make it as good as it can. Going to take a sip of water before we hop into the third poem. And you'll find here, team, especially as we're getting to 3, 4, 5 especially, the level of polish is just not something that you will have seen over the last week. I was writing I wrote every single day since last stream, except for Sunday. I was hungover and a bit tired. And I was in a writing retreat in New Orleans this past weekend, where I was writing 8 to 10 hours a day, and not just writing 8 to 10 hours a day by myself, which I do quite often actually, but really in a group situation, everyone pushing, everybody locked in. It was some of the most productive I've ever been. Really just a beautiful thing to be writing around other people and for them to want us. All of us just want each other to win so much. We've been at it for almost a year. The goal in the writing workshop is to finish a project in a year, a book. I'm the first to fit, like this is going to be finished in the next 2-3 weeks as far as like the writing part of it is concerned. So I am the first person to finish in my group. Keeping in mind that I haven't had a job this year, so it gives me a little bit of a benefit to write a lot. Jason Fever says, good morning, E. Really love the characterization of a darkness there. Thank you so much, Fever. Step into the outside in. It's so goddamn good to have you here. I just saw your notes. I'm sorry if I was a little bit late on that, but I really appreciate you being here. We have a wizard in the chat, another wizard in the chat from Vanderbilt University. So step in. All right, let's go to the third myth. So we have a light here, and it's swallowed by a darkness. And keeping in mind that the darkness that we're talking about is not evil necessarily. It is just a yearning, right? And I think it's important to say it's not evil necessarily. Why it just doesn't want to be different anymore. It doesn't. Why do you want to be different from me? Why do you want to be severed from me? It wants to return to where everything is the same. And so it's not. Obviously, we prefer love over yearning, and we like to see things be and become and emerge in complexity. And yet, that is not a darkness is not evil. It is just a yearning towards it. So keep in mind, let's go back to where we ended this last one. We ended on a stillness. Based on our first myth, you can see that people are expecting a dark here, right? Because we repeated this 3 times. After the stillness, you would expect a dark. Let's see what we get instead. Okay, let's see what we get instead. A Sun by Yai Werner. Still. A light loves to be, a light loves to become. At last, a heat, its glow, a seed shatters, a sun shines. I am a sun ablaze, epicentity itself. I come from a seed. My form is fire gold, all fire, only gold. A sun is beauty. A sun loves to be, loves to bestow. A sun shines. I am dying to bestow 6 children, 6 orbs to behold, beheld. A darkness cannot claim us. A sun bestows 6 children of itself, one. Unlike her brothers. She, the only daughter of a sun. A dying sun beholds itself glimmering in her sweet waters. All right, let's unpack it. Let's make sure my keyboard sounds are working. Okay. All right, so let's unpack it here, team. All feedback is encouraged. A sun book. So we started with the stillness, but even in the stillness, even at the center of the seed, even at the center of this black hole, still a light loves to be and become. And one seed cannot contain that, right? It can't make it fully disappear. And so at the last possible moment, when it's at its literal most smallest possible thing, A heat, its glow, a seed shatters, right? It shatters the seed and the sun shines. This is its emergence. This is our Big Bang. I am a sun ablaze, epicenity itself. Again, once again, both sides of the gender spectrum. It comes from a seed. Its form is fire gold. So it's transfigured a bit. Instead of fire white, it's fire gold. So think about when Gandalf comes back. First he was Gandalf the Grey, then he's Gandalf the White. So he's the same, but he's different. Then when Jesus returns, he is also quite different. And we talk about, when we're talking about reincarnation, you're the same, but you're also different. You are the same, but you are also different. So a son loves, but a son loves also to bestow. Son loves also to bestow, and that's a different thing. So if we come back up, you saw that a son loves to become, and that a light loves to become. One thing we need to decide, and let me take a note of this. Here we're saying a light loves to be. You can see that we're repeating a light, whereas here in a sun, we are removing a sun, right? So instead of, let me take a note. Either way, it should just be consistent, whether I name it or not. So we can mark this. We'll come back. That looks horrible. Yeesh. What a glaring color. We don't want red. Never mark up people's work in red, fam. It's really just, things aren't wrong. They just need to be, improved. You're not marking up a test. So we can, a sun shines. Now, this is a difficult transition, right? What I'm trying to say here is, look, there is this darkness, this black hole that is trying to consume everything. And in order to protect itself, what a sun is doing is dying to bestow 6 children, 6 orbs to behold, beheld. These are the planets, all right, fam? And beheld, the darkness cannot claim us. And we've discussed this concept. If you are in Innsider, a regular around the outside in, you'll be familiar with the fact that we are arguing that if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one there to hear it make a noise, it makes no sound. It remains as the potential of sound. And that beholding, that perceiving, that the perception is a crucial part of rendering reality. Now, that tree will still fall over there. So it's still happening, right? In this potentiality world, and that's called the quantum world. When people talk about quantum, it's about those potential things that could happen in the potentiality. But without a perceiver, without a hearer, that makes no sound. Makes no sound. Now, that is an idea that is becoming extraordinarily more popular when it comes to astrophysicists and quantum physicists in contemporary reality. If you look up simulation theory, if you look up the slit experiments, which I encourage you to actually look up the slit experiments before you look up simulation theory, you will find that we are not the only ones to believe that. So we're saying that a sun shines. Now we repeat the sun shines. Whenever a sun is speaking, it's shining, right? So this is its way of shining, and you'll see that its way of speaking, right? You'll see that other celestial beings speak in different ways, but whenever a sun is speaking, it's going to shine. That's what we've decided here, and you're going to see it's dying, right? So it requires some sacrifice, and this is another cosmogonic law that you will find in my mythology, which I believe, which is that to create something new demands sacrifice, right? You can't make something out of nothing. I'm pretty sure that's the first law of thermodynamics. It might be the second, but which is that, energy in the system, you can't create something out of nothing. And so in order to bestow these children, these 6 planets, it's costing the sun its mortality. It's costing the sun its mortality. And you can see that of the children, 6 children of itself, 1 is unlike her brothers. So we're teeing ourselves up here. We're starting to recognize that we're going to be personifying these. And I'm hoping that people will get the hint, the indication, the implication of the fact that we're talking about Earth once we start to bring in the feminine here and Yeah. So, and then we have this comment about a dying sun beholds itself glimmering in her sweet waters. And this has two components. Number one is in Genesis 2, 2, 1, 2, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and God's spirit was over the surface of the deep. Okay, so there's this idea, and it's not the only one. You can look at different Egyptian myths as well as Babylonian myths. There's this idea of before the darkness waters are translated into anything, that the divine sees itself reflected in them, and it's also hinting at this concept we're going to get to later. Our insiders in the Telegram community of God creating man, a kind and humankind in His image. So in His image, man and woman, He created them, both of them. So there is this concept of creation, creating things in your own image, and this glimmering in her sweet waters is going to be representing a sort of magic, like a little bit of secret sauce that's going to be moving things forward. So gonna give you all roughly a minute, maybe, if you have any feedback on that, if anything felt jarring, if anything felt confusing, didn't feel right, please let me know. This is the hater draft. Again, we talked about how the hater draft is very important to serve the work. No ego, all ego aside. Emily Hellman, you are up early, by the way. I'm proud of you. You're getting after it. Jesse, last week she was here before you too. So she's really killing it. She's on fire these Tuesdays, really bringing her best game. And I hope y'all are having a productive morning getting after your writing. We have a lot. We got big work for y'all on your writing this upcoming year. Come on, we're finishing this book. There reaches a point in these longer term projects, like a sort of impatience with yourself and impatience with the project, like, let's get this fucking done. And that's what I'm sort of feeling like with this. It's an impatience, like I'm obviously patient, like how long it takes, right? I'm in the game, like these things take a long time, but there's also a sense of like, it's time, and every single morning I've just felt that pressure for the last couple of weeks. Somehow I just woke up, I was like, how the fuck am I here? EST has me on in on time. You were here in New York as well. Okay, I love that. And I love that this is getting you to wake up early. It has for me too. I have to say, I really tried to go to sleep. I try to wake up really early on Mondays so I can go to sleep early on Tuesdays. And it really sets up my whole schedule to be like an early rise situation all week long. So it's been a great part of my life, not a negative in any way. And keeping in mind, fam, I've been waking up early to write before work since as long as I've been working. Since I've had a job, I was writing, I was writing in college. I was creative writing, an English major, and then I was working on a novel starting right into my internship, working on a boat in Baja, Mexico, and then before my first consulting job. So this morning writing sesh, I'm inviting you in on one of mine. Usually I would say did at Skims, it was like 3 days a week. Before work. Before that, it was almost always 4 days a week. At any job, doesn't matter. Just making sure to find that time. So, okay, let's go ahead and get into the fourth poem here. So, how did we end? We discussed that there is 6 children of itself, and one is unlike her brothers, right? So we're introducing this concept of gender here, her, right? That's the first time we're seeing a feminine descriptor. And now the next myth is called a daughter, keeping in mind the whole myth is called a mother. So I think, when you're reading a book and you see the title of the book in a sentence or a chapter, it gives people that extra moment to start looking. And I think people are going to start paying attention, like, oh, okay, shit is starting to go from full cosmic level into we're going to start to be approaching Earth. We're going to be zooming in here, team. So, A Daughter by Yai Werner. She shivers against a cold abyss. A darkness yearns to devour her. Its heat ablaze Behold, child, I hold you. Beheld, child, I behold you. Beloved, beloved, I love you. She asks, who are you? A dying sun shines. I am a sun ablaze, obscenity itself. I come from a seed. My form is fire gold, all fire, only gold. The sun is beauty. She asks a dying sun, who am I? A dying sun shines. You are a daughter alive. She herself. Her form is water's blue. Her heart, a diamond. A dying sun beholds itself glimmering in her sweet waters. A daughter loves to be loved, loves to be beloved. A daughter dances around its heat, dances around its glow, dances back where she began. There, a daughter beholds a dying sun, all fire, only gold. Awe wraps her. A sun is beauty. Then a daughter beholds herself, half day, half night. Shame wraps her. A daughter is merely beautiful. A daughter cries. A sun is epicentity itself. Me, merely. She, herself. A sun is all fire. Me, merely. Half glimmer, half shadow. A sun is dying. Me, merely. Me, alive. She twirls to flee her shadow. She twirls her shame. A night twirls after. She weeps. I wish I were more than she, more than a day, more than me, more beautiful. She weeps. I wish I were more than herself, more than a night, more than alive, more beautiful. At once, clash, salt tears and sweet waters. Two places clash, her shadow and its glimmer. Edge and edge, dawn and dusk, a sun and a sun. She, a mother. All right, team, let's unpack it. It's a little different than last time, than I last read it, and there's some things I might want to change. But let's walk through it together. So Earth is the protagonist here. She starts her life, she's shivering, right? It's cold, and a darkness yearns to devour her, like a darkness yearns to devour everything. It's heat ablaze. I'm not sure. Do we say a sun shines? We just go, it's heat. It seems cleaner. It's he. Behold, child, I hold you. And I think this has potential to be a really beautiful part of the poem, potentially even a chorus to a song. Behold, child, I hold you. Beheld, child, I behold you. Beloved, beloved, I love you. It's clean, it's simple, it's quite beautiful. And this is the moment wherein a son is beholding a mother, a daughter, and it feels good, right? It's warmth against the cold abyss, and it's a good feeling to be beheld. It's a good feeling to behold, to be loved, right, and to be beloved. And I think if you look, remember we're talking about. Okay, let's before I get there, let's continue. So, a dying sun shines. A dying sun. I am a sun ablaze. Now I'm considering having the this be a glow, right? Because this idea that it's dying, the sun is dying, like it could be slightly getting dimmer. Could be getting slightly dimmer. For now, we're going to be consistent. A sun ablaze, obscenity itself. So the sun is introducing itself, right, to her because she asked. And she asked, who are you first? And you'll find that we have a much more consistency with the way that we introduce dialogue, the way that everything is much tighter and cleaner because it's no longer reader draft. We're getting ourselves ready for readings, public readings. She asks a dying son. So now that she knows who she's asking, you'll find that she's going to be explicit about who it is she's asking for more clarity. A dying son explains who she is. Now, there was a moment in here that I felt a little clunky, and let's go back through it. You are a daughter alive. So this is the first time we're getting live, like livingness, right? So she's alive. It's quite interesting. And you'll find for the poetics, right, we had a light, we had a sun ablaze. Now we have a daughter alive. And we also have the A, the recurring, the indefinite article A to show that recurring present. So you can see the poetics there, right? So a daughter alive, a son ablaze. She herself, her form is water blue. Now what I'm doing here is I accidentally fucked this up and I'm not sure if it's better or not. I love this idea of her heart, a diamond, but he is speaking to her. And by he, I mean it is speaking to her. And I think this has to be your form is water's blue. Your heart, a diamond. A dying sun beholds itself glimmer in your sweet waters. You see what I'm saying? We were inconsistent with the pronouns there and with the perspective. So we have cleaned that up a bit. And that's why we're reading it out loud. Hater draft. I'm my own hater today, trying to be as critical of myself and these readings as possible. I hope that the regular insiders, of which we have numerous, shout out Jesse and Emily, the goats, can start to see the polish. I think you'll really notice it in 5. We have a quote. We have somebody from Twitch saying, hey, hope you're doing well. I wanted to reach out to see if you'd be interested in some art stuff and 2D, 3D designs for your channel. Aliana Watson, yeah, definitely hit me up. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. I think that's probably the best. We are going to be creating an illuminated manuscript. What is that? You should Google it. I think it's quite cool. It's like kind of in those medieval Old English times that you're really drawing. Every page is art and is drawn. You'll usually see the first letter of the first sentence larger. And so the plan is we are reading today out loud on stream in the thick of it after our weekend writing retreat. Tomorrow I have my writing workshop. I'm reading this again there, getting another round of hater feedback. Integrate the feedback. Sending it to Lisa Dordal, incredible poetry professor at Vanderbilt, who I'm very close with. She's going to read it. And then we are going to start looking at picking an artist. So Aliana, maybe that could be you. And we are going to, I already have a publisher picked out, Beehive Books. You can check it out for an illuminated manuscript, limited edition, signed by me, limited printing. First printing is going to be 77 copies. Obviously, the number 7 is quite important for us. We have 7 poems. Here you can see we have a septimal system when we're counting down that I invented, base number 7. So Yeah, let's continue. But Aliana, yeah, definitely hit me up. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. So a daughter asks, "Who am I?" And she's asking the son, "You are a daughter alive. She herself. Your form is water is blue. Remember, we had fire gold, we had fire white. Your heart a diamond." So this is going to come back later. This is like Chekhov. We need her to have a heart later. So here we're planting that heart. So later we can get the payoff of her having a heart. A dying sun beholds itself glimmering in your sweet waters. And we talked about how this is the divine seeing itself reflected in mortals. It's also referencing Genesis 1:2. So a daughter loves to be loved. Remember, this is different than a son, which loved to be and bestow. This is different than a light, which loved to be and become, right? And so you can see how we get a lot of benefit. From establishing a theme, because then when you invert it, you can get a lot of, you can see how things differentiate from one another. And for those of you watching on YouTube, Aliana was speaking to us on Twitch. If you look on screen, you should be able to see the consolidated chat. But if you're looking at just the YouTube chat, you are maybe going to miss some Twitch people. I haven't invested a lot in the Twitch side of the community, just kind of go live there randomly. But it's good to be as many places as possible. It just costs me a couple extra buttons. Okay, so she loves to be loved and she loves to be beloved. Remember, she's a daughter, right? She's going to become a mother, right? That's the name of this whole myth here. But as a daughter, she loves to be loved and she loves to be beloved. A daughter dances around its heat, dances around its glow. I do think we we are going to go for a glow, and we'll do it today at the end of the session. So begins a sun ablaze. I think a dying sun is going to be a dying sun aglow. I think it's going to be slightly dimmer because keeping in mind, remember that in order to create the planets, it had to sacrifice of itself. It had to bestow of itself. It demanded a sacrifice, as things cannot be created out of nothing. The only thing that can be created out of nothing is that first creation. And that's, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's impossible. Like what? Where did it start? And so our start is at once I am a light, right? So a light declares itself, it emerges. And remember that when we're speaking about these cosmogonic mythologies, the idea of speaking something into existence, the concept of words may manifest into reality is unbelievably monomythic. When almost all these creation myths in Islam, in Christianity, in Judaism, in Egyptian myths, in Babylonian mythology, creation is done often, almost exclusively via declaration into the universe to change the potential, the air, into something manifest. So sunshine, oh no, that's from before. We're on a daughter here. Now, there was something clunky here I did want to highlight. Okay, so she's happy, right? So she's obviously stoked. She's getting loved and beloved. And so she dances around its heat. She dances around its glow. She dances back where she begins. So she does a solar orbit, right? So this is a cosmogonic myth, creation of the cosmos. Where does she get her solar orbit from? Here, right? So her solar orbit is her dancing around its heat, its glow. And what she sees there, right? Literally there, a daughter beholds a dying sun. So she's seeing a dying sun. She's beholding a dying sun back. And she's seeing that it's all fire, only gold. And she's wrapped by awe, wrapped being consumed, absolutely, unable to focus on anything else because it is a consuming level of attention, rapture. A sun is beauty, right? So now, so first she beholds a dying sun, and now she's comparing herself. She's juxtaposing herself against a dying sun. Then a daughter beholds herself. half day, half night. Now, I'm not sure if this is the best way to show this, so we'll come back. But she's saying, look, this thing is all fire, only gold. It's singular in its dimensions, and she's half night. I think she should probably just say half night, but we'll come back. This is a hater draft reading. We are still editing, fam. Shame wraps and wraps her. So instead of awe, so first she sees awe and then shame. And keeping in mind that awe begets shame almost always, right? You see someone so beautiful on IG, you know, her waist is this tiny and she has the perfect life and the cute boyfriend and she's on private jets. And what does it make you feel? Even though it's so beautiful, it makes you feel shamed, right? And so this concept of feeling shame before the divine is also monomythic. When Moses beholds God in the burning bush, feels overcome with ineptitude. Me? Really? I have a lisp? I'm nothing. When the apostles see Jesus, they fall on their face when they see him shining, literally shining with light. And so the idea of awe begetting shame is another monomythic concept that we are channeling here, fam. So a daughter is merely beautiful. So here we're beginning to see the comparisons where she's going to be comparing herself against a dying son. So a son is epicenity itself, me merely she herself, right? So this is a really powerful one, right? We're saying epicenity itself, both in neither gender. She's saying, I'm only half the spectrum. I'm only half the gender spectrum. You're the whole spectrum. You're complete. I'm incomplete. A son is all fire. I think we need to say, this is the one I didn't like. This is the one that felt clunky when I was reading it. Because we did already say this. The question is the repetition good or is it, or we, right? We're already comparing them. So the first comparison is the gendered comparison, epicenity versus gendered. The next one is, she's really ashamed of her shadow, right? Her shadow is going to be the manifestation of her sadness, right? Keeping in mind that light is also monomythically good. It is also monomythically associated with the divine. You will almost never find a myth that is a cosmogonic mythology wherein the divine is not associated with light. It is almost impossible to find. So it's not quite working, this line. We're going to come back. A son is dying, me merely, me alive. So she's recognizing that she's the only one alive. And this is a powerful one, team. Let's talk about it. A son is dying, me merely, me alive, right? And we have all these me merelys, right? So this is going to be a beautiful poem. This has potential to be a great chorus for a hymn. Keeping in mind, we have already proven that we can translate our poems into hymns quite easily. We have done it in the past, and with the composer of all this original music that you are listening to now, one becomes two. Exactly, one becomes two. Exactly, Emily. Emily, you really get this stuff. I really appreciate it. Let's try it. Sun is all fire. Fuck, it's not quite working. We're gonna lock in on it. Let me just get to the end of explaining all this, and then we'll come back before we hit 5. 5 is where you guys are gonna see, you regular insiders like Emily are gonna see the most change, beginnings of changes, and then 6 and 7 are gonna be borderline unrecognizable from our last session. Borderline Okay, so she twirls. Okay, so a son is dying, me merely, me alive. A son is dying, and she's reliant on the sun, right, to exist. She's reliant on the sun to exist, to survive against the darkness. She needs to be whole. She needs to be held. In addition to that, she also loves to be loved and beloved, and the sun is doing that for her. She's recognizing that if a son is dying and she's the only one alive, that has a sort of pressure on it, right? There's a duty that she has. She has a role to play in this cosmos, and she's starting to reckon that. Oh, wait, a son is dying and I'm the only one alive? There's a shame associated with that, and it's quite abstract. William Skorsky, woo, I'm finally here. A lot of things were broken this morning. Excited to see your progress. Step into the outside in. William Skorsky from Antarctica representing. We've been having a great stream so far. We are reading our hater draft, right? So we have done the vomit draft, just getting to the end. Then we did the reader draft where we are, essentially having people like y'all read it with giving us the benefit of the doubt as we try to wrestle with it and get it together. Now we're doing the hater draft. These are the final polishing. This is the final bit. This is where we plant our flag in the ground and say, this is what we're fucking saying. And keeping in mind, fam, that my biggest inspiration is John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. And he is the literal GOAT. He invented fantasy as we know it. He invented the way, when you think of dwarves, when you think of goblins, when you think of dragons, you are thinking of the Tolkienian versions of those. He was that level of an influence. Now, what was he fascinated by? Primarily languages, the history of languages, how they're formed, how they're written, and how they travel, how different weather events and wars affect the emergence of language. Now, what else was he fascinated with? Mythology and religion. And the first project he ever started working on, and the last project he was working on until his death, was a cosmogonic mythology for Middle-earth. A cosmogonic mythology for Middle-earth. But he was editing it until the day he died, making small tweaks. Is the plane a square, or is it a hexagon, or is it a circle? Like making little tweaks like that until the day he dies. And keeping in mind, I've been, studying these myths for 2+ years, and you can infinitely edit these things. And I'm learning not from his mistakes, but from his struggles. I'm learning from John Ronald Reuel Tolkien's struggles and saying, look, if these are infinitely editable, at some point we got to plant our flag and say, this is what it is right now. And myths do change, myths do evolve. You realize how many times the Bible was collated, re-put together by different authors, different editors, right? And you realize that with every single time the Odyssey was told by a different bard, it's an oral tradition. It changed a little bit based on the bard of its telling. So we need to take our stand. We need to finish. We need to deliver, and we can't let these be hidden away and required to be released by our children after we die. We're going to release our cosmogonic myths. We're going to learn from Tolkien here. Okay. Now, BRB Yoga, Godspeed, Jesse Matthew, get it. Good stretch, big breaths. She twirls to flee her shadow. So we're tying her shadow to her shame here. And she twirls, right? So here we're inventing, we're creating, remember this is a cosmogonic myth, creation of the cosmos. We are creating her horizontal spin, right? So not only is Earth in a solar orbit around the sun, but she also has an axial rotation. And that is what we are inventing with this twirl here. And we are saying that she's twirling to try to escape her shadow, that she's ashamed of it. And then we're saying that she twirls, but her shame a night twirls after. So we're really trying to tie here. And this sentence actually took me a while, but I think it came out quite nice, which is to say that we're really trying to tie shame, shadow, and a night all together, right? If darkness is a yearning and bad, and kind of the opposite of that loving and the beholding and light, obviously the fact that she's half shrouded in darkness is going to not be something that she's stoked about. And in this point, we're making shit very clear. We're saying she weeps. I wish I were more. I wish I was more than what I am. First off, pretty much all of us believe that way, unless you're some Zen master Buddhist who's a monk and doesn't do shit but sit in the middle of nowhere. I wish I were more. Now, we're like almost humanizing her. She's saying, I wish I was more than what I am. And ultimately, this is what's going to create life, her desire to be more than what she is. And I think it's quite powerful to take a moment out of your day to look at this planet that we're on and identify that maybe she does want something. Maybe that we're all alive because she has some sort of yearning, some sort of desire. Maybe that's why she's spinning. Maybe that's why she's so abundant and fruitful, that she wants life to live, that she has some end game, that she has some sort of desires. And considering this mythology is called a mother, we're going to be exploring what that is. I wish I were more than she, right? So she was comparing herself against the epicenity. She was comparing herself against the both genders and neither gender. So she wants to be more than what she is, more than a day. So this one, again, not perfect, more than me, right? And so these are all referencing what different pieces of
her crying up above. So they're not coming out of nowhere. More than me, more beautiful. Then the second half is the same as the others that we're missing. So we end up representing all of them. I wish I were more than herself, right? So if you see me merely she herself, right? So the first time we read the first half of this, she's saying, I wish I were more than me. She, the second time we're reading it, more than herself. And it's important that she cries twice because we're going to have two tears that fall in two different places. And so I wish I were more than herself, more than a night. We can go here and again represent that we want to make a small tweak to that. More than alive, more beautiful. And this is quite a powerful one. More alive, more beautiful. At once, clash, salt tears and sweet waters. Two places clash, her shadow and its glimmer. So I like the fact that we use this clash thing. The way I read it, you know, it's a clash. There's a suddenness. There's a clash, and then you understand what's clashing. If you say salt tears clash sweet water instead of putting the clash first, there's almost an indication that salt tears is first. I like putting the clash at the beginning because they both are clashing each other at the same time. One is not clashing the other. They are clashing each other. And so that is why I came up with this format. It took actually some iteration, but I think after reading it out loud, this is by far the best. And I like the suddenness. I like the abruptness of the clash in this way. So we are going to keep that. Two places. So this is happening in two different places at the same time. So at once, but in two places. Clash, her shadow, and its glimmer. I think all these deserve just some consistency with regards to what she's ashamed of, what she wants in this little piece. We are going to take a look at that in a moment here. Edge and edge. So, you know, these places are on the edges at dawn and dusk. So we're getting a sense of where and when these different clashes have taken place. And here we see a son and a son, she, a mother. And we could say so she, a mother. I think it's a little implied. It would be like this. What do you think, Emily, if you're there? A son and a son, so, comma, she a mother, or just she a mother? I think so makes it much more clear that the result of the sons being born is her evolution from daughter to mother, but there's a cleanliness to she, comma, a mother, as far as maybe it's just implied, right? If you have two sons, then you are going to stand. So I'm gonna give you a moment to respond, Emily, if you are here. Let's leave it open so you can see it. I'll take a sip. We're going to finish our reading before we come back and hit our little bits here, team. But we're going to be decisive today on editing. We're going to be extremely decisive. We're going to make moves. We are going to make moves. Is she a mother or so she a mother? Another way we could say it is like, I think we'll go for the so. I think we'll go for the so. Okay, Emily says I like just she, I think. Okay, so let's go for we'll keep just the she. That's what I had originally, so maybe we just trust our guts. Okay, team, so let's look at where we're at before we move on to the next myth. So we've read 4 of them, 4 of 7. So we're more than halfway through. the only open items that we have right now, everything is feeling tight, is whether we say like a son loves versus just loves. We'll do that at the end. So that's the first change that we need to make that we'll revisit. And it's just about making sure that it's consistent with the other ones. You know, it needs to be consistent. And right now it's not. So now the next thing that we're going to come back, and this one's going to take us a minute, but you know, not too long. We know what we're trying to say, which is Earth is making a comparison against the sun. She's juxtaposing herself against the sun. And one of those juxtapositions is that she has a shadow and a sun does not. The sun is entirely fire, entirely gold. So she feels ashamed of that. We have half day, half night here, but I think we are going to revisit the specific language, make sure that that's a little bit cleaner when we come back. And that is this is actually good. So this one we don't need to change. Okay. Myth 5. I'm going to take a quick break, team. We'll be back in a few minutes. I'm out of water. I'm out of caffeine. Just need to check back in real quick, get some stuff, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Step back in, step back in. Let's lock the F in. Okay, so team, today, reminder what we're doing, hater draft. We're closing in on the end. We're putting we're being decisive. We're picking words. We're picking stories. We're on our way. We have read 4 of the 7 myths. We have just a few notes that we're going to go back to at the end. We're going to go finish our reading and then do the edits as a whole together. I will work on them live. It's going to be a couple hour stream here as we have both reading and writing to do. Remember that these are 7 myths, total of roughly 1,600 words. That's like the length of the Cat in the Hat. So it's like a nice Dr. Seuss book length, all 7 myths together. For those of you who are just available during the break, you would have gotten to see my invented septimal system. Those are invented numbers base 7, and those are going to be a crucial part of numbering our different myths in our illuminated manuscript, and a huge part of our world building to show that, the number 7 will appear just throughout the fantasy world I'm creating, as well as the mythology I'm making. So let's remember where we were on the last myth before we dive into this one, which is that clash, salt tears, and sweet waters, right? Clash, her shadow, and its glimmer. So we're seeing that that because she's spinning, because she's crying, because there are collisions between different opposing forces, because she's half this, half that, she's not universally one thing, that different things are that life is born, that sons emerge from this, and that because the sons are born, she becomes a mother. She becomes a mother. So her sons are born, and now when we move forward, you're going to note that we have 2 parallel poems here, right? And all of the rest of the myths are in this format because we are going to explore the differences between her 2 sons' experiences of their lives, right? And so a lot of the words are going to be the same, and that's on purpose because the brothers are identical except for where they're born. So let's go in, let's give it a read. These have been the hardest to write. These have been the hardest to read because of the parallelism. At the same time, I think they are exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to demonstrate to you a cosmogonic myth that provides a more nuanced perspective on the origin of good and evil. And by the end of this myth, you will see what the hell I'm talking about when I'm saying that. So let's give it a read. A Brother by Yai Werner. A dawn, a dusk, a sun shivers, shivers against a cold abyss, shivers against a cold abyss. A darkness yearns. A darkness yearns to devour him. Yearns to devour him. A mother sings. Behold, child. Behold, child. I hold you. Beheld, child. I behold you. Beloved. I love you. A sun opens 2 eyes. He sees a day, sees a night. He sees not he is, he has a brother. A son asks, Who are you? Who are you? A mother cries. A mother cries. I am a mother. I am a mother. A mother alive. A mother alive. Merely she, herself. Merely she, herself. I come from a sun. I come from a sun. My form is water's blue. My form is water's blue. My heart, a diamond. My heart, a diamond. Me, merely beautiful. Me, merely beautiful. A mother loves. A mother loves. Loves to be. Loves to be. Loves to love. Loves to love. Loves her sons. Loves her sons. She dances, twirls. She twirls, dances. A mother, her love. A mother, her love. Turns water to milk. Turns water to milk. A mother sings. A mother sings. Drink. Drink. Drink, my son. Drink, my son. Drink my milk. Drink my milk. Drink of me. Drink of me. Drink. Drink. Drink, my son. Drink to become he. Drink to become he. He who beholds a son. He who beholds a son knows not her shame. Knows not her shame. Drink. Drink. Drink, my son. Drink, my son. Drink to become he. Drink to become he. He who succeeds a son. He who succeeds a son. Before a dying son dies. Before a dying son dies. A son drinks. A son drinks. Drinks of his mother. Drinks of his mother. A day milk is warm. A night milk is cold. A day milk is thick, sweet. A night milk is thin, brine. A son drinks. A son drinks. He is nourished. He is famished. A son asks a mother. A son asks a mother, who am I? Who am I? A mother sings. A mother sings. You are a son. You are a son. A son arise. A son arise. He, himself. He, himself. You come from a mother. You come from a mother. Your form is two eyes. Your form is two eyes. Seek, see yourself. Seek, see yourself. In my waters blue. In my waters blue. A son seeks. A son seeks. Seeks himself in a mother. Seeks himself in a mother. In her waters blue. In her waters blue. A son sees. A son sees. Sees a day, its glimmer. sees a night. Her shadow sees himself. Sees himself. He says, I am a son. I am a son. A son arise. A son arise. I come from a mother. I come from a mother. My form is two eyes. My form is two eyes. Two eyes to seek, see. Two eyes to seek, see. I see. I am beautiful. I see. I am a darkness. A sun loves. A sun yearns. A sun yearns. Loves to be. Yearns to be. Loves to be loved. Yearns to be loved. Loved by his mother. Loved by his mother. Loves to become he. Yearns to become he. He who succeeds a dying son. He who succeeds a dying son. She dances, twirls. She twirls, dances. A day turns to a dusk. A night turns to a dawn. A sun figures his two eyes. A sun disfigures his two eyes. Two eyes to four eyes. Two eyes to four tongues. Four eyes to seek more. Four tongues to seek less. He, four eye. He, four tongue. All right. It's my first time reading it since we really wrote it. There's some things we want to tweak. Let's see what we got in the chat. Woot woot. Good morning, fam. Good morning, BT Collins. Step in to the outside in. It is great to be here with you all. We are reading our hater draft today. We wrote so fucking much this past week. We're getting to the end. We're pushing here. We're doing our final readings today here, tomorrow in my writing workshop, and putting the final pieces together before I send it to my poetry professor out at Vanderbilt. Shout out Lisa Dortle. OG, just lesbian goat, professor of poetry at Vanderbilt. A brother, we ended the myth before where two sons are born at edge and edge, dawn and dusk, right? They're at opposite poles. Emily Hamlin says, whoa. I appreciate that. Whoa is exactly the type of answer we want. We can see that both sons are identical, except that one is born at dawn and one is born at dusk. Both shiver against a cold abyss in the same way that Earth, shivers against a cold abyss, because the darkness is yearning to devour her. This is the state we live in. Keep in mind, if you look out at space and the celestial being, it's almost all a darkness. It's almost all that black. And the second you get out there, it's trying to devour you. It's not going to let you be yourself. And so a mother sings to her children. She sings to both sons the same. She loves them both the same. She sings the same song that a son sang to her. Remember that she's a son's only daughter. So she's also a child. And a mother sings, behold, child, I hold you. Beheld, child, I behold you. Beloved, beloved, I love you. Now remember, we're talking about beholding is much more than just what the word initially seems to say right off the gate. We talked about how beholding it, to be perceived, is a crucial. It's the best tool that we have to fight against a darkness devouring us, is to be perceived by another. To be perceived by another. And when we think about this in the cosmos, why is it that gods even give a shit if humans worship them? Why are they so jealous? Why is it that you can't, the gods of war say, you have to worship only me? Why is that? Because beholding is powerful. Beholding is powerful. Okay. And so a mother is singing that. So the kids are feeling like they're shivering against the dark until they hear a mother's voice, right? A mother sings. It's kind of the first thing that they really reckon with. And they open their two eyes and they see, one sees a day and one sees a night. But neither sees that he is nor has a brother, right? Once you recognize that you have a brother, you also realize that you are a brother if you're a man. So he sees not he is, nor that he has a brother. A son asks, who are you? Right? Same way that a daughter had asked a son. And a mother explains who she is. Now, she explains who she is slightly different than a daughter did. A daughter was quite naive, was quite happy. Before her first solar orbit completed, all she did was dance and dance around the heat, its glow, right? All she was doing was dancing around. She had no shame. She had no shame. But now, when she's describing herself, she's using this word merely, right? She's merely beautiful. She didn't recognize that a son was beauty before, and that beautiful was less than beauty before. And so there's a tinge of sadness, keeping in mind she's crying here. A mother wants to be more than what she is. A mother wants to be more than what she is. We made that clear in the last myth. She's not just this earth that we're on, we're arguing, is not a being that is fully contented. Otherwise, she wouldn't be spinning so fast. Otherwise, she wouldn't be dancing so quickly around the sun. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so desirous to feed us, to be so abundant, to create life. So we continue on. A mother loves to be, right? So all of the beings we've had so far love to be. They love to exist. They don't want to be devoured by singularity. They don't want to be devoured by darkness. They want to exist. She loves to love. Right now, this is the first time we've gotten loves to love. Each time we've gotten these loves, we got to scroll back up quickly here, team. I just want to show you the poetics, the way that everything self-referenced, right? A daughter loves to be loved, not to love. Okay. And if you look back, a son loves to bestow, a light loves to become, right? And so we're showing slight differences in the different forms of love that these different celestial beings are having, because they are different. They are different. Okay. So now she loves her sons. Okay. She dances, twirls, dances. Now you're going to see there's going to be a lot of inversions when we're talking about the different brothers. They're having the same experience, but it's flipped. So you'll see we'll do this a lot. We could even consider going like, watch. All right. So she dances, twirls versus she twirls, dances. A mother, her love versus her love, a mother. Turns water to milk. A mother sings. Now, I think this might be a little bit too long, and I think we could get rid of a bit of it, but imagine this is like a beautiful song. It's like an OG myth of a mother, rocking her child back and forth and breastfeeding. And what does she want? She wants her son to drink of her. Okay, makes sense. Drink my son to become he who. Lock in on this idea, he who, okay? Lock in on this idea, he who. And also keep in mind the title of today's stream, me, he, okay? So we're really diving in on these brothers. They're going to have a really fundamental role in these next couple myths. What does she want? Why does she want him to drink, right? What are we saying? Drink to become he who beholds a son and knows not her shame. So when she beheld the son, she was ashamed. A mother wants better for her children than for her, right? She doesn't want her children to feel that shame. Drink my son to become he who succeeds a son before a dying son dies. Now you're starting to get the plot of this myth, I think. These children, she's hoping, are going to succeed a son. What does that mean? Succession, right? You guys know that show? Extremely popular, Succession. Inheriting, right? There's an inheritance, but it's not just it's not an inheritance of just of gifts. It's an inheritance of responsibility, because a son is hugely responsible for holding and beholding all these planets, right? For keeping all this shit out of the darkness. So I think we can make this slightly shorter. So I am going to make a mark of a note. I think it can be 2 stanzas, and I don't think it needs to be 3. I don't think we're getting that much out of it, out of the third one. So we are going to mark that and come back. Now, Let's continue. A son drinks, he drinks of his mother. Now, this is where we start to get the differentiation to manifest, right? So we have seen that the two brothers have different experiences. One opens his eyes and sees a day, one sees a night, right? And these are very different experiences. However, those differences haven't made any more material impact on their lives until right now. Until they start to drink the milk, okay? Until they start to drink the milk. So we have a son drinks of his mother. A day milk is warm. A night milk is cold. Imagine you're like a little baby and you're, breastfeeding and you're drinking, and the milk is cold coming out of your mom's breast. Feel all wrong, okay? Warm milk is a beautiful thing, and it's what babies should be drinking. A day milk is thick, sweet. A night milk is thin, brine. A son drinks, he is nourished, he is famished. And we can really start to see how just where they were born, right? Were you born at dawn or were you born at a dusk? Is going to impacts what milk you get, right? And to be nourished versus to be famished when you're a child who has a big mission to succeed a son before a dying son dies, you're going to see there's going to be tragic implications of that now. Before a dying son dies, this is really going to give us our ticking time bomb, our ticking clock, and all of us are living in it. I think to understand how stars work, to understand astrophysics, the physics of stars, is that they don't last forever. They don't last forever. And so this is a cosmogonic myth about our cosmos, right? About our Earth. And some shit's going to need to happen within this cosmos before the dying son dies. And so Earth, in order for her to survive, in order for her kids to survive, someone is going to need to succeed a son before a dying son dies. Someone will need to inherit the responsibility of being the center of this universe and holding and beholding its children. So a son asks a mother, "Who am I?" Right? And this is the similar way that a mother had asked the son before, like the bright son. And she tells the sons who they are. You are a son arise, right? Someone who's supposed to grow and rise. And you're going to see the wordplay that we use with arise in Myth 7 is quite clean. Your form is 2 eyes. And she's encouraging him, see yourself in my waters blue. See yourself in my waters blue, right? And we have introduced this concept of seeing yourself in her waters, right? A dying sun beholds itself glimmering in her sweet waters. So she's saying, look at yourself reflected in my waters. Now, so a son does. And the issue is the day sun gets to see its glimmer, right? That glimmering of a sun in her waters. And he sees himself in that. But at night, there's no light. He can't see shit. So what does he see? He sees a night. When he's looking for himself in her reflection, he sees a night. He sees her shadow. Remember, shadow and shame are tied together. And that's what he sees for himself. And so when he introduces himself, listen to how they introduce themselves. It's identical until the end. I am a son arise. I come from a mother. My form is 2 eyes to seek, see. I see I am beautiful, the son born at dawn says. I see I am beautiful, the son born at dawn says. What does the son born at dusk say? Remember, dusk is where day turns to night. So he is just, the moment he wakes up, he's just eating a full night in front of him, okay? He sees I am a darkness. That same darkness that yearns to be a one and only. When he's looking at himself, and it's tragic because he's not getting a clear reflection. He's only in the darkness, right? He's not able to truly see himself. And now we're starting to see how this really gets fucked up for him, okay? A son loves, a son yearns, right? So now he is no longer a loving being. He's lost that verb. And we've returned to the yearning verb. We've returned to the yearning verb, which is associated with the darkness, with the black hole, that desires darkest dark, right? To return to singularity. to the opposite of existing, the opposite of becoming, the opposite of emergent complexity is the return towards singularity. And so a son yearns to be loved by his mother. So they want the same thing, except one yearns and one loves. Now, good morning, team. Adam, Eli, step in to the outside in. So good to have you here. I'll check you in on where we're at. We have 7 myths. 7 poems make 1 myth, as you know. We are reading, it's called the hater draft. So we've explained that we have vomit draft. You just have to get to the end. Whenever you're writing, start with the vomit draft. You have to. Just get to the end. You have no idea what you have until you get to the end. The next is the reader draft. You're working on it. You're getting the language right. You know, sitting in some of the language, understanding what am I actually saying, right? Wrestling with those words, picking the words. The final bit is the hater draft, right? And that's not the final version. It's the hater draft where you're reading it as the most critical possible reader to get that final bit of feedback, the way that the world will read it. People who don't know you, people who don't understand, who are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And we're on the 5th myth called the brother. 5th myth called a brother, and you can see we have 2 parallel poems here, left and right. And these 2 brothers, they're identical, except that one was born at dawn and one was born at dusk, okay? And this informs every single thing about their lives afterwards. So they have identical lives, except for because a day milk is warm, a night milk is cold. A day milk is thick and sweet, a night milk is thin and brine. As a result, the dawn son, the fortunate brother, is nourished. Unfortunately, the son born at dusk is famished, right? And so we're seeing how their differences in their birthplace is begetting tons of different changes. Now, the sons ask their mom, "Hey, who the hell am I?" And the mom says, "Look at yourself. To understand that, look at yourself reflected in my waters. See yourself reflected." The one in the daytime looks at his reflection. He sees that he's beautiful. He sees his reflection. He sees light glimmering on the waters, the sun glimmering on the waters. However, the night son, the son who was born at dusk, looks for his reflection, and there's no light to see his reflection. There's no light. And so what does he see? He sees that he is a darkness, and his identity changes. So instead of loving anymore, a son yearns, and that's the same verb that we have been using for the darkness, the darkness of space that's yearning to become a darker and a darkest, to return to singularity. And so he has been twisted. He no longer loves, but he still yearns to be loved by his mother. And at the end here, we say she dances, twirls, she twirls, dances. And you can see because they're having the same experience, but inverted. We're doing that often. A day turns to a dusk, right? So as she's twirling and dancing, as she's spinning and as she's going about the solar orbit, obviously time passes. So a day turns to a dusk, right? So you can't just stay still and have everything move. And at the end, we have a sun figures his 2 eyes to 4 eyes. 4 eyes to seek more. I don't like this ending so much. So he's so happy that his life has been so good. All he's done is see good shit. He has this extra nourishment from the good milk. So what does he do? He makes his 2 eyes into 4 eyes, and now his name is going to be 4 Eye. Okay. So moving forward, this brother is 4 Eye, and moving forward, this brother is 4 Tongue. I am going to return to this last line here. I think there's a version to make it a little bit cleaner. The reason why I did it this way, but even though it's not perfect, was to mirror the Shia mother here, right? So instead of Shia mother, right. So we end here, Shia mother. This is declaring that after a son and a son born, she becomes a mother. Here we go to, here, and we said he is 4 Eye, right? So here they're getting named. And let's lock in, and you guys, the myth 6 and 7, even the OG insiders like Emily, Jesse, Bill, William, Skorsky, Adam, Eli, these are going to be, you're going to see these are quite much different and much cleaner, and I'm really excited to show myth 7 off. Myth 7 was dog shit last week. Look at it back, okay? If you look back at our last stream, it was complete dog shit. And so you'll really be able to see how much we really accomplished this past week when looking at myths 6 and 7 here. You'll also see where the title of today's myth comes from. Today's stream. So let's lock in. Let's read again. You guys ready? Ooh. So good reading here, team. First time I ever read aloud. Aspire by Yair Werner. Let's just remember where we ended. So where we ended is 4 eyes to seek more, 4 tongues to seek less, and keeping in mind that a night turns to a dawn, a day turns to a dusk. So time is passing. They're both headed to the same place, right? So there's going to be a collision between them. So neither of them knows, if you look at the top, neither knows that he is or has a brother, so they don't know about the other one. And they're both on their way somewhere towards the same place at the end of the last myth, okay? And so this is where we start this myth. Sorry for coughing in the mic. I hope that wasn't too bad. Aspire by Yair Werner. Clash, 4 eye and 4 tongue. Clash, 4 tongue and 4 eye. Aspire, twist betwixt them. Aspire, twist betwixt them. Clash, a brother and a brother. Clash, a brother and a brother. To top, aspire, to aspire. To top, aspire, to aspire. Only one ascends. Only one ascends. A brother grapples a brother. A brother grapples a brother. 4 eye is nourished. 4 tongue is famished. 4 eye is strong. 4 tongue is frail. 4 eye triumphs over 4 tongue. 4 tongue forfeits under 4 eye. Triumphs over his brother. Forfeits under his brother. 4 eye ascends. 4 tongue falls. Ascends atop aspire. Falls beneath aspire. Its zenith, her nadir, a heat, its glow, a darker, a darkest. 4 eye is wrapped by its splendor, wrapped by her shame. From its zenith, its capital I, from her nadir, this means abyss, depth, an ache, a pain. 4 eye beholds his brother. 4 tongue beholds his brother. His brother's misfortune, his brother's fortune, compassion aches him. Spite pains him. 4 eye beholds, 4 tongue beholds. He is 4 tongue. He is 4 eye. A son accursed. A son blessed. 4 tongue is born at dawn. 4 tongue is born at dusk. 4 eye is born at dawn. Only chance. Me, born at dawn. Me, born at dusk. 4 tongue is famished. 4 eye is nourished. I think the reading of this, I'm going to read, instead of going back and forth, let's read it down let's read from the perspective of the fortunate brother first. He's beholding his brother, right? So he's talking about his brother. He is 4 tongue, a son accursed. 4 tongue is born at dusk. Only chance, me, born at dawn. 4 tongue is famished. One circumstance, me nourished. 4 tongue is a darkness. Only chance, me, beautiful. He, me, one circumstance, me, he. Bit tough to read. I think we may need to make a little changes here, but let's read the right side first and then talk about it. 4 tongue beholds. He is 4 eye, a son of blessed. 4 eye is born at dawn. Only chance, me, born at dusk. 4 eye is nourished. One circumstance, me, famished. 4 eye is beautiful. Only chance, me, a darkness. Me, he, one circumstance. He, me. Let's get to the end before I unpack it. For eye forgoes his self, for tongue forsakes his self, to allay his ache, to escape his pain, to redeem his brother, to escape his self. He descends unto a night, he descends below her nadir, falls in unto her nadir, falls out unto a darkness. A night blinds for eye, a darkness stills for tongue. A night darkens, a darkness darkens, a darkness devours for eye, a darkness devours for tongue. A darker, a darkest, a darker, a darkest, a dark, a dark. Okay, a little clunky on the reading. I had never read it out loud before in this version. Let's unpack it. Aspire, okay? Aspire represents aspiration, represents a place where two people want one thing and only one can get it. And it represents the origin of victory and defeat. And what we can see is that where they clash, where the brothers clash and are seeking one thing, aspire twists betwixt them and they grapple over it. They grapple for the top. One of them is nourished, right? The one who got to drink the good milk. The other one is famished. He got to drink the shit milk. And that makes one of them stronger. That makes the other one frailer. Four eye triumphs over four tongue. So one wins, the other loses. And we talk and we're using different words, right? So over four tongue, he's winning over on top of him. The other one's under four eye, right? He's going down. And this continues. Four eye ascends atop aspire. Four tongue falls beneath aspire. Now we're calling this its zenith, capital I-T-S, possessive its. Remember, epicenter, its self. We're talking about it being a dying sun. Her nadir. Now this means the bottom, the pit of a pit, the absolute abyss. I'm reading it a little bit clunky, but I do think it's the right word. I do think it's in the mythological register, the opposite of a zenith is a nadir. And on one hand, it's not a word that people are going to be 100% familiar with, but neither is epicene, right? And so we're trying to teach people this mythological register. And I think it's implied, you know, beneath aspire is her nadir, right? And so this one's possessive is its epicenity. Here is her, right? So we're talking about her shame, her darkness, her night. And so we have here, one is really wrapped by, let's say this is awe. This should be wrapped by her shame. So they're having completely different experiences. This guy wins, so obviously he's hyped. This guy loses and he's sad. Now listen up here. Okay, Tim, listen up here. This is what the fuck we're saying. From its zenith, from the pinnacle of glory, of light, of height, of winning, from her nadir, from the bottom of the abyss, from the bottom of the night, from the darkness, an ache, a pain. Let's talk about the ache first. Four eye, the fortunate brother, looks at his brother and he sees his brother's misfortune, and compassion aches him. From the top of glory, he's ached. He looks down at his brother's misfortune and is ached by compassion. This is the origin of goodness, team. This is the origin of goodness. We are arguing that this is the origin of goodness. Now let's talk about the opposite. Its opposite. From her nadir, a pain. He's at the bottom looking up at his brother's fortune, and spite pains him in agony. Okay? This is the origin of evil, we argue. This is the origin of evil. Because why? Because it was never fair. It was never fair. And this has potential. This poem here where they're comparing each other has potential to be so fucking good. And when I was reading it, it's a little clunky still, but we're going to nail it today. If we nail anything today, it's going to be this, okay? This is what we're working on, okay? One brother looking at his other brother. Let's talk on the left. He is four tongue, a son accursed, right? So he's looking at his brother. He's cursed. He was born at dusk, and it was only chance that I was born at dawn. Four-tongue is famished, so he's talking about his brother being famished. It was only one circumstance, so only chance and one circumstance. So we're going to be repeating those words. Only chance, one circumstance. So completely due to chance and randomness, never fair, not justified. One circumstance, where you were born. That's it, okay? Only chance, one circumstance. Four-tongue is famished, me nourished. He's comparing it's only because of chance, and it's only because of this singular circumstance that he is famished and I am nourished, resulting in his victory. Four-tongue is darkness, and there's only chance that I'm beautiful. We're talking about the reflections here, that when he looked in, when they looked at their reflections, it's only chance that I get to see that I'm beautiful, and he had to see that he was darkness. Now here's where it gets cool, and here is the namesake of our stream today. He, me, one circumstance, me, he. Me, he, one circumstance, he, me, inverted. I look at my brother as the fortunate brother. I look down at his misfortune, and I recognize that there's only one circumstance that would have turned the tides, that I would have been him. He would have been me had it been switched. It was never fair. It was never fair. It was never fair. He, me, one circumstances, me, he. I could have been him. I could have been disfigured by darkness. I could have never seen again. What's the result of this? What happens next? For I foregoes his self. You're going to see this poetics. For I for, right? You're going to see this a ton in the next myth as well. For tongue forsakes. Foregoes is I am letting it go. It's not as important to me. I am relinquishing it. I am sacrificing it as priority. Forsakes is to let go, to relinquish hope. Okay, to allay his ache, to escape his pain. So we're to redeem his brother. So he's let's do the left side first. He's foregoing himself. He's sacrificing himself in a way to allay his ache, to get rid of that ache in him, that ache of compassion, that goodness, to redeem his brother, to save him. It's goodness. He descends unto a night, falls in unto her nadir. He falls into the night. He falls into the darkness. He falls into her abyss where he was. Now let's look at the other side. For tongue forsakes his self. That's a dark word. Forsaken. Forsook. To give up. To leave behind. Relinquish hope. For tongue forsakes his self to escape his pain. He's in agony. Why would he want to live here anymore? All he's known is pain. He hasn't seen anything good. His eyes are disfigured. He won't even be able to see anything good. He can't see shit. He disfigured his two eyes to four tongues. Let's look closely at these next words. He descends below her nadir. So he's leaving earth. Leaving earth, going out below a night. So this brother is sacrificing himself or going himself to try to save his brother. He thinks his brother's in a night, right? In that darkness beneath a spire. But this brother, the unfortunate brother, descends below her nadir, falls out of orbit, unto a darkness. Okay? How are we ending this myth? How are we wrapping this up? After we've been introduced to the brothers, after we've invoked and incited good and evil, what happens? A night blinds for eye. A night darkens, so a night is turning into a darkness. He can't see shit. A darkness devours for eye. He's getting swallowed by the darkness, by the night. A darker, a darkest, a dark. He wasn't born in the night like him. He's eating shit, and we're getting returned once again to this a darker, a darkest, a dark state, towards that singularity state. On the right side, what happens? The darkness stills Four-tongue. He's out in space. He's out in space. He's freezing him. A darkness darkens. A darkness devours Four-tongue. The darkness eats him. A darker, a darkest, a dark. It ends almost you think it ends here, right? Like they both died. They both lost their way. They've been devoured into singularity. And that is where we are going to be in the seventh and final myth, a sire. I'm really proud of this myth, but reading it out loud, it wasn't as quite, it was a little clunkier than I wish it was. And we are going to have to work on it today. We have some writing on this to do today. We're going to finish the reading. I want to get to the end. I want to show you how this myth ends, so that we can have some feedback. But there are a few moments of clunkiness in there that we can improve, but it's a very powerful myth. It's a very powerful myth, and it's a lot of what we're trying to say. The origin of good and evil. I think it is the most, I've read a lot of myths talking about good and evil. It's often represented by siblings, and I think this is the most interesting and compelling one. I'm a little biased. I wrote it. How you guys feeling about these team? Are you following me? You following me? Reading these out loud is how we clean them up, right? This is I finished like the writing just by myself, but I wrote until my eyes were blurry. And now it's time to read them and see how they fall. I'm going to try to hit the pavement in New York City, do some poetry readings. I'm trying to be around in this scene. See if we can make this a thing. We're going to do a poetry art book and illuminated manuscript for this, but it's got to be great. Got a short myth here, team. 200 words for the final one. Let me take a quick breather. I'm not taking a full break, but just stretch a sec. What do you guys think about these myths so far? Keep in mind, this is hater draft. You need to rip me to shreds in service of the work if you have feedback. What is making sense? What isn't making sense? I would love to get an invite to any poetry readings you go to in New York. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. I so appreciate that. I'm gonna hit it, man. I'm trying to join this scene. I'm trying to be a part of it. This is how you build community, build momentum. I'm a New York City-based writer. I'm the aspiring Grey Wizard of Greenwich Village. Add a little T there. Greenwich Village. We're going for it, team. I think I need to learn how to read these really powerfully, and once I do, I think it will be powerful. I don't think anybody else is doing anything like this. As in, I certainly can't find anyone doing anything like this. Mythopoetics. I feel like people underestimate the value of poets in societies. People used to have kings used to have poets next to them in their courts. Poets and prophets are very aligned. In history, poetry is important, fam. And obviously we're author too, but poetry is extremely important, and we are part of this next generation of masculine poets. I don't think there are any masculine poets you guys like, any ones that you know, any who are willing to put themselves out there like this and just start fucking streaming live while my writing is still ugly. I'm not sure, but I think what we're doing is pretty unique. I'm going to stand by my own writing. I'm going to be proud of it. I'm going to fucking read it. I'm going to go out to poetry clubs. I'm going to read aloud. I'm going to try to recruit people to join our community of people who are interested in cosmogonic myths, people who are curious in the ancient and the arcane, but don't just want to, take someone's word for it. Oh, this is how it was. Yeah, really? There's a lot of stories about how the universe was created. You think just because you grew up on one, it's the right one? There's an open-mindedness to saying, hey, we can actually write poems about these things. We can actually look for truth in here. So we're going to be out there. We're going to be out in New York City. We're going to try to be try to be a part of the scene. We're going to try to bring masculine, confident energy and mythic energy to a new age. Bold dreams. Why not have bold dreams? Why not? What? I have big dreams. What? So it's not going to happen. A lot of my dreams haven't come true so far. What? I'm still here. I'm just as hungry. I'm reading this shit out loud to you before it's even polished. Let's fucking go. Where are the poets? Where are the poets? We're going for it, team. Let's read the last myth. I just really properly wrote this for the first time this past weekend. First time ever reading it right now. A Sire by E.I. Werner. Let's just remember where we ended. The last myth was one brother goes into a night. So still on Earth, but into a darkness, and it gets devoured. Okay, can't see shit. The other one descends below her nadir out unto a darkness, into the darkness of space. Remember, a darkness is space, right? It's that blackness of space, and gets devoured. So we're ending where it looks like the shit's over, man. Like we've lost. Okay, that's what it looks like. It looks like everything has been returned to singularity. That's where we come into this next myth. A Sire by E.I. Werner. At last, a mother severs half her heart, her heart, a diamond, She wraps for eye, she seals for tongue, him her son, in half her heart, her heart made womb, her heart made moon. This is a cosmogonic myth. We're creating the moon. Joy ignites for eye, wrath frosts for tongue. He still alive. He still alive. He simmers deep within her. He seethes round about her. For eye, her ember womb, the molten core. For tongue, her frigid moon, the moon. For eye foresees, for tongue foretells, competing prophecies here. I will redeem my brother. I will devour my brother. I will fill my mother with light. I will devour my mother in a darkness. All light, only light. A darker, a darkest. I will sire a sky of stars. I will sire a one and only. Before a dying sun dies, I will devour a dying sun. I will become every light, all lights, a dark. From her ember womb, from her frigid moon, a river of milk and fire, a tide of salt and ice. For eye forms four forms. For tongue forms one form. 8 paw, 6 swing, a one and only. And twin two hands, lone fang, to see that he foresaw, to tell that he foretold. First time ever reading the end out loud. It's pretty good. Let's unpack it. At the last possible minute, a mother saves her kids. How does she save them? She has her heart a diamond. We brought that up in myth 4, in poem 4. She wraps for eye him, her son, in half her heart made womb. This is inside of her, right? She seals for tongue him, her son, in half her heart made moon. She's sealing him. You look up at the sun for the rest of your life, 1%, maybe 0.1%. You're going to wonder if maybe that's an egg. Maybe there's something inside there. You don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I'm arguing it is in the myth. Joy ignites for eye. He is still alive. He's stoked to be alive. His whole life has been dope until that last possible minute when he was eating shit in the darkness. And that joy ignites deep within her. And he becomes the ember womb. That's what we're calling the molten core of Earth. This is the cosmogony. Cosmogony, the origin of the cosmos, the cosmogony of the molten core of Earth. Where the fuck does it come from? Nobody has a good explanation for why our planet has an infinite fire at its center that just burns and burns and burns and burns forever. We have nobody talks about it. Nobody explains that, oh yeah, there's just an infinite fireball in the middle of our fucking planet. Where did it come from? Why is it there? On the other side, wrath, frost, four-tongue. He's still alive. Wrath, anger, resentment. He's still alive. At last, Jesse Matthews says, that's a perfect comment. I love that. At last, exactly. At last, we read the last bit. Wrath, he's not stoked to be still alive. He tried to commit suicide, right? He tried to leap out into a darkness. He was trying to escape his agony, escape his brother, right? And so four-tongue becomes her frigid moon. He's locked in there, an egg. And now we have competing prophecies. And truth foretold is going to collide with truth foretells, right? Can't both be true. Or can they? I'm going to redeem my brother. I'm going to devour my brother. I'm going to fill my mother with light. Remember, a mother's shame is associated with her darkness, with her night, with her shadow. I will devour my mother in a darkness. All light, only light. A darkest. And now this is the coolest vision that I have. This is the coolest vision that I have in the whole myth. I will sire a sky of stars before a dying sun dies. He's going to give birth to a sky of stars before a dying sun dies. This is his attempt to succeed a dying sun. Remember, that's his motivation. Because if a dying sun dies and we don't have a successor, an inheritor of the responsibility, we're cooked. We're going to be devoured by darkness. He's going to devour a dying sun. He's going to, on the right side, on the left side, he's going to become every light, all lights. Look all the way back to our first myth. You're just going to have to trust me. What does a light, the first light want? To become every light, all lights. We're hearkening back to myth 1. I will become a dark, singularity. So how are we ending here? What are we saying here at the very, very, very end? We have competing prophecies. Okay? We have a molten core of Earth for the first time, right? It's been invented. Prior to that, her heart was simply a diamond. She severs her heart in half to one half to save each of her sons. So what happens next? From her ember womb, a river of milk and fire. 4-eye forms 4 forms. 8-paw, a proto-beast. 6-wing, a proto-bird. And twin 2 hands, proto-humans. To see that he foresaw. Why does he form 4 forms? He's sealed in the ember womb. He can't go out and fight it on his own. So what does he do? He makes avatars to go out. And what are these avatars motivated by? Their belly fire in them. What does they want to do? To see that he foresaw. What did he foresee? I will sire a sky of stars before a dying sun dies. So these creatures, these warm-blooded creatures, why are they here? To fulfill this prophecy. Why are we here? You're going to see. To fulfill this prophecy. On the flip side, four-tongue forms 1 form from a tide of salt and ice. You see the mirror, right? Tides of salt and ice. One is in the salt water. One is in the sweet water. Four-tongue forms only 1 form. Why does he only form 1? You'd think you'd want multiple forms. No. A darkness, it wants singularity. It wants less, fewer. It doesn't want emergent complexity. Love the energy all stream, Ramp Season says. I appreciate that, man. I'm in it, man. I'm here. I gotta say, it's been a fucking hard year. Writing these myths, going around in circles on them, wrestling them, grappling these huge ideas. But we have a fucking stream I love. I love waking up early. I love reading these for you. I'm proud of what I've written. It's not perfect yet, no. I'm proud of what I've written. I'm proud. I'm going to be a poet. I'm going to say this shit out loud. I'm going to be writing from this. and we're going to get to the end. We're going to deliver. And I've reached a level of impatience and tiredness with myself of dreaming about being something I'm not. Okay, be it. Go. Who's going to stand up for your own writing except for you? Who's going to read it? Who's going to care? Me. We're unapologetic, and we're not apologizing anymore. We're a fucking poet. We're a mythwriter. We're writing mythic poems, and you realize that the Odyssey is a mythic poem. You realize that Dante's Inferno is a mythic poem. You realize that some of the most important books in our history are mythic poems. And we're trying to join into this register, be a part of the conversation. Okay, hubris? No. It's the greatest possible respect. Greatest possible respect to say I want to engage and wrestle with these ideas and try to bring them to a new audience. Greatest possible respect. Tolkien says he was a very devout Christian. People would say, you are playing with God to create a world. Only God creates a world. Only God creates life. No. We are creating God's image. And to be a creator, to be a creative, we have that capacity to create in us. God created us with that capacity. The best way to honor God is to create worlds, to create. Four tongue forms one form, a one and only lone fang, to tell that he foretold. Okay, team. Also, ramp season, step into the outside in. It's amazing to have you here, as always. Okay, I'm presenting to my writing workshop tomorrow, and we have a shit ton of work to do still today. I have little polish now that we've read it all through. We can edit it. I am going to take a quick break here, team. I gave a lot to that. We're shifting gears from reading to writing. Remember, we're working on A Mother, 7-Age Creation Mythology, 1,600 words, roughly the length of A Cat in the Hat, slightly less than A Cat in the Hat. We are going to begin our editing. It's going to be a very simple decision, but it's good to gather some momentum and do an easy one. We're going to begin our decision with whether we say a son loves to be, or if we just go loves to be. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get some coffee. I'm going to get some water, and we're going in for final polish, right? This is hater draft. I'm not telling you it's done. I'm telling you that I'm trying to read it as if I hate what I wrote, as in I hate me and I want to be the most possible critical, the deepest possible critic in service of the work. I'm not just trying to rip myself to shreds for no reason. I need to be critical. And we're at the level of polish now where there is, the next couple tomorrow, and then I have a couple days before I send it to my poetry professor from Vanderbilt. This is it, this is what it's going to be. And if it's not good, then that's me tolerating that. And I'm not going to tolerate that. So we are going to make it fucking amazing. We're going to keep working on it. We're going to take a little break here, team, and I'll be right back. Step back in, and lock the fuck in, fam. We're going for it. Got a lot of writing to do now. We read it through for the first time, team. I wrote so much this past week, never read it aloud. Read it aloud to myself, but you cut corners when you're reading aloud to yourself. It's tough to channel that same passion that the poems deserve. And in the same way that we talk about beholding, how important that is, it is important for this too. So we need to make we are on the hater draft, right? So that means that we are being the most critical readers of ourselves, poking at everything until it's perfect. That's the time. This is the time. There is no other time. It's now. So we're going to be working on that together. The first thing that we need to decide is a son loves to be, or like this. I think we just keep it with loves instead of the repetition. Reason being that when a sun shines, it'll be a little bit more different. There'll be a starker contrast between the loving and the shining. So let's get rid of that. And now we need to consider then a light loves to be. We need to then make this consistent. Every light, all lights, right? This is where we got that ending there. So the first three are clean, fam. This was one word. We were considering ablaze, right? So a sun ablaze is how it starts. I'm considering in my mind it's nuance, but nuance matters. Once a sun becomes a dying sun by bestowing the children, right? By bestowing the planets, I'm wondering if it dims a bit from a blaze to a glow. Let's experiment with it. There's no other time but now to figure it out. There's no other time to make this decision. It has to be now. So let's look at it. So here's all just light. We don't have a sun yet. Let's go dark. So a sun ablaze, the first one is definitely a blaze, but then this one has to be no glow there. At last, a heat, a seed shatters. I like that. A sun ablaze. So this one's definitely ablaze. And keep in mind, we're talking about the poetry of it, right? A sun ablaze. A light, right? You can see that we're using all A words there. Epicenity itself. My form is fire, gold, all fire, only gold. Sun is beauty. Sun loves to be. Let me try something here, team. I'll tell you what. I'm going to write it in, and then we're going to decide together. Why does that look weird? I don't like that. What am I saying? The reason why I'm considering adding this in here, team, is it provides the reasoning for this dying, right? So let's talk through it, right? So we're saying everything's gathered into that primordial atom, the black hole, right? At the center of the black hole is the primordial atom from which the Big Bang shatters, right? So our seed shattering and our sun shining, there's our Big Bang, okay? At the beginning, a sun is ablaze. We know all this. We get the nature of a sun. Why I'm adding this, and I think I will keep it, a sun shivers against a cold abyss. First off, against a cold abyss is clean as fuck from a poet. poetry perspective, especially considering how much we've been using a sun, a blaze, right? Against a cold abyss. But the reason why I think it's valuable from a storytelling perspective is that otherwise, I think if we go just from loving to bestow into dying, I don't think you're really getting that that connection between of why a sun needs to do this. Why does a sun create the planets? And I think it's because it's being devoured. A darkness is yearning to devour it, and this is its method for combating that. So I think we are going to keep that. I like it. I think it makes it more clear. A sun shines. I am dying to bestow 6 children, 6 orbs to behold, beheld. Now, we love the 6 children end sentence and then 6 children start sentence. But I do feel that if we'll use this word orbs. If we don't use the word orbs, you're not going to get the sense that these children are planets. I don't think it's clear enough. And so I made the decision to sacrifice slight harmony there for clarity. For clarity, I think we need to demonstrate and articulate that the children are planets. And this was my attempt at doing that by replacing this word with children with orbs. Beheld, a darkness cannot claim us, right? This is a huge thesis statement for us. A sun bestows 6 children of itself. So there's the 6 children that we really love. We love ending a sentence, then beginning the next one. That's a style thing that is going to be associated with me, I think, for the rest of my poetry career, because I love it. 6 children of itself, one unlike her brothers, she the only daughter of a sun. A dying sun beholds itself glimmering in her sweet waters. Question is, a dying sun and a sun and a dying sun, do we use it both places? I think we say dying sun. Okay, 3 is done. Moving. Any questions here, team? Chime in. Any critical feedback, please. If something's confusing, we're all here in service of the work, right? There's no ego on this. We got to make it the best we possibly can. We'll refigure out. It's only going to be a handful of words different from this, but we will update the word counts at the end. I think it's important. So she shivers against cold abyss, darkness here. It's heat. Behold, child, I hold you. This is all clean. Then this is where we had an issue. Oh, fuck. This is going to be hard. Ugh. The amount of times I've already rewritten this part, we're going to be decisive. We're going to do it, team. But I just want you to know that this has tormented me, this section, because it's so important. We're really talking about a mother's motivation, an Earth's motivation here. And the reason is, right, so she does a full orbit around the sun. She sees the splendor of a sun and feels ashamed. She juxtaposes herself against the sun. Let's unpack it. A daughter dances around its heat, a daughter around its glow, right? So we are going to need to make our final decision on glow versus blaze here, team. I think we will stick with glow, but the decision must be made today. Dances back where she began. So she's happy. She's stoked, right? So I wonder if we even say daughter loves to dance. No. Daughter dances around its heat. I think dance implies a sort of happiness, a sort of joy that I feel comfortable with. Dances back where she began, right? So there something happens there, comma. A daughter beholds a dying sun. Now, this is the section we're working on. We're specifically needing to say, what does she see first? What does she compare herself to then feel ashamed? And then in this middle one, what is she comparing herself against? A daughter beholds herself. I don't know if this... I see. I'm almost certain the best way to do it. I don't know how it just became clear to me. There a daughter beholds a dying son. All wraps her. A son is beauty. Then a daughter beholds herself. Shame wraps her. A daughter is merely beautiful. The reason, the first origin of her shame is beauty versus merely beautiful. Okay, works. Doesn't mean that this is done yet, though. We're writing. Let's go. A daughter cries. A son is epicenity itself. Me, merely she, herself. That's good. A son is all fire. Is it only fire, all fire, or all fire, only fire? How did we do it before? All fire, only gold. That's what we need. All fire, only gold. I like the start. So this part we can remove. Half glimmer, half shadow. That's true. But it is the best way to explain. She's comparing herself, right? Sun is epicenity itself. Me merely she herself. Sun is all fire, only gold. Me merely. Now, the real parallel would be towards her, if you bring up the color, only gold, we could say half blue. But beneath the light, she's still all blue, even if you can't see it in the darkness. At any given moment, though, she is only half blue. I know this seems like, just overly focused on the details, but the details fucking matter to you. Are you kidding me? This is a poem with only 2,000 words, and we're creating the whole. It's 1,600 words, and we're creating the whole universe. Every word matters. There's a muscularity to it. And how do you earn that muscularity of writing? Working it out, exercising it. We're exercising it now. All fire, only gold. So these are our options. I'll show you. Half day, half night. Is this the best one? Half glimmer, half shadow. I think it might be. The glimmer being light, seeing itself reflected in her sweet waters, right? It's the glimmer of a light seeing itself reflected. It's a sort of magical element. And we are comparing glimmer and shadows several times in the future, so we're teeing up that juxtaposition now. I think it's good. Okay. That wasn't as painful as we thought. Although, let's say, there's another way to say it, right? We could say, a glimmer and a shadow instead of half. I wonder if half feels right. We use half a lot, half her heart, right? So half is not a bad word. And when we're talking about, one makes two, makes three, makes the 10,000 things, when we're talking about singularity being severed into duality, halves are an important part of this. All fire, only gold, me merely a glimmer and a shadow. I think the half glimmer, half shadow makes it more clear that what she's feeling is this incompleteness. She's feeling an incompleteness. So I think we had the right one to start, but it needed to justify itself. Every comma earns its place. Every word has to earn its place. Okay. A son is dying, me merely, me alive. She twirls to flee her shadow. She twirls her shame. A night twirls after. This is really clean, actually. She weeps. I wish I were more than she. This is not right. This has got to be. Now, I just thought of something. We have to consider it. Instead of a glimmer, it can be its glimmer, right? Because it is a sun itself. I like it. In that case, we need to mirror it. She weeps. I wish I were more than she, more than its glimmer, more than me, more beautiful. She weeps. I wish I were more than herself, more than her. It's good. It's really good, team. Nice job. Okay. I wish I were more than herself, more than her shadow, more than alive, more beautiful. At once clash salt tears and sweet waters, clash her shadow and its glimmer. Now the question is sweet waters and salt tears. Do we do sweet first and then salt after? So these are the two options we have, team. I'll show you. And I know it's and then this one would then have the different order saying I think it is better. I think we do start positive. You see what I'm talking about here, right? I this one says salt, tears, and sweet water, so it goes negative, then positive. And then this one mirrors it. Negative, shadow, glimmer, positive. But I think we want to go positive, then negative here. So all we need to do is this. And now you can see the sweet is paired with the glimmer and the salt is paired with her shadow, which makes sense. Edge and edge, dawn and dusk, sun and sun, she and mother. Okay, clean, team. On to 5. Oof. I'm feeling a little more tired than I thought, but we got this. We were pushing. I spent the whole week pushing through while my eyes were still blurry writing. Like, this is a muscle I know how to work. I know how to write. I know how to write even when I'm tired. Let's get into it. A dawn, a dusk, sun shivers against a cold abyss, right? This is repeating again, right? We're always using things that came from before. Obviously, complexity emerges. When two things collide, you get a new thing, right? So keeping in mind, the first myth is undifferentiated darkness. It's the least complex. A sun shivers against a cold abyss. Shivers against a cold abyss. I fucking love that line. A darkness yearns to devour him. Behold, child, I hold you. This is all good. Sings the right word. I think so. A sun opens 2 eyes. He sees. Do we need 2 C's? Do we need 2 C's? Right, he could just say he sees a day, he sees not. I think it's better. And then it would go like this. Two ways to do it. We could go, he sees not, he is, comma. No, it's too much going on. What we'll go for is this then. We'll have a brother be the punchline. Keeping in mind, it is the namesake of the myth, which gives it extra resonance. So then it would be... Yeah, that's better. Okay. Cruising. A son asks, "Who are you?" A mother cries, "I am a mother alive, merely she herself. My won't." Yeah, this is all good. This is consistent. Okay, I remember what we needed to work on in this myth now. I don't think this encouragement to drink needs 3 stanzas. I just don't think it does. I don't think we're getting enough out of this first one. And do we want the shame? Obviously, she wants her sons to succeed a son before a dying son dies. This is the most important one. So this is locked. The question is it interesting enough that she wants her sons to behold the sun and know not her shame? I think it is interesting enough. And how many lines is each of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each of them needs to be 5. Drink my son, drink my milk, drink of me. I don't think the shame is interesting enough for a whole line, for a whole stanza. One, two, three, four, 5. Let's lock in. What are we trying to accomplish here, right? She is singing to her kids and she's saying, "Hey man, drink of me. Drink." Actually, it is good. I wonder if I should count this as part of the lines or if this needs one more. A mother sings, drink, drink, my son, drink my milk, drink of me. Drink, drink, my son, drink to become he who beholds a son knows not her shame. Drink, drink, my son, drink to become he who succeeds a son before a dying son dies. I think we say a four. It's a mythic word, but I'll get a definition of it for you guys, but I know it's correct. Let me just Google it real quick so I can define it for you. A four versus before, because keep in mind we have a sun, we have a blaze, right? A four defined. A four is an old-fashioned or dialect word that means before or in front of. So it's obviously correct. Just wanted to help teach you that word. So a four is going to be better for be than be for. Although keeping in mind that we have beholds, become, right? So it's not 100%, but a four does work here. A four, a dying son dies. It's nice. This is actually quite beautiful. It doesn't need as much change as I originally thought. A son drinks of his mother. A day milk is warm. A day milk is thick, sweet. A son drinks. He is nourished. I don't like this last line. A son drinks. I think it goes like this. The he isn't clean. A son drinks is nourished. Very clean. I like it. Okay. A son asks the mother, who am I? You are a son. A son arise. He himself. You come from a mother. Your form is two eyes. I think we need a line here. Two eyes to seek. Seek, see yourself. And look again, two eyes to, right? Lots of poetry here. This is a poem after all. She's encouraging her son, say, look at yourself in my water's blue. A son seeks himself. I think we say in her. In her, a son seeks himself in her water's blue. We said from in her, we changed from a mother to in her because then we get the in her ending to in her water's blue beginning, which has more rhythm. A son sees a day. In slightly earlier myth, when we were introducing him, we were saying a son sees is not a good enough full line. I think we may make it like this. To match how we did it slightly above. Sees a day. What we can go for is similar format to what we had before. A night, comma, her shot. It's nice. It's good. It works. A son sees a day, comma, its glimmer. So he sees a day, and what is a day? Its glimmer. Sees a night, what is it? Her shadow. Sees himself. Perfect. Perfect. He says, I am a son. A son arise. I come from a mother. My form is two eyes to seek. See. Two eyes to seek. See. He says, I am a sun arise. I come from a mother. My form is two eyes to seek, see. I am beautiful. I am a darkness. It works. This is some grindier writing team. On one hand, I know it could be a little bit boring to watch. On the other hand, this is the truth of what it actually is to work on a project like this. So if you find it interesting, I hope you stick around. And either way, we're getting some good writing done, team. Son yearns, son loved, loves to be loved, loved by his mother. Is that what he loves? Let me just think for a second. Yeah, I think both of them want a mother's love and to make her proud. Now, a son yearns to be, we're talking about just the right one here. Son yearns to be loved by his mother. Yearns to become he who succeeds a dying son. Is that what he wants? At this point, I think it is what he wants, because that's what his mother told him to want. That's what she wants for him. She said, drink to become he who succeeds a son. For a dying son dies. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Oh yeah, this we definitely need to fix. Okay. So what are we working on here? We're talking about, so what happens is right, one of the brothers figures his two eyes to four eyes, and then he becomes four eye. That's how we're going to be referring to him now. We need to experiment. I think we need one more line here. The Phoenix Flame says, hello, hello, Phoenix Flame. Step in to the outside in. It's great to have you here. Is this your first time here, or have you been here before? If it's your first time, I'll give you all the tea on what we're working on. If you've been here before, settle in and get comfortable. I need to think for a moment here on this. First time, I pop into writing every now and then because I'm a fan fiction writer. Well, welcome here. I'll give you a little TLDR on me, Phoenix. Welcome. I am E.I. Werner. I'm a fantasy author. Currently, I am writing a mythology, a cosmogonic mythology for a fantasy world. Cosmogonic means creation of the cosmos. And it's called a mother because the protagonist of this cosmogony is Earth. Quite unique for the protagonist to be Earth. Almost always she is a setting. We begin our myth with, an undifferentiated void, a darkness. Then a light emerges, declares itself, severs a dark to a darkness and a light, so a singularity into a duality. And you can see we continue on until ultimately we get to, there are 7 poems that make one myth, right? And the whole thing is roughly 1,600 words. 1,600 words is roughly the length of The Cat in the Hat. It's like a Dr. Seuss book. And ultimately we go through the cosmogony of Earth, the creation of her waters, of her children of life, right? Of her molten core, of her moon, of her axial rotation. And so, and at the very end, there are these avatars that form, and the implication is that we're kind of in the middle of this story now. Like it ends with where we are. So I can't, that's a pretty high level explanation of where we are. We are quite close to finishing here. So we've been working on it the last couple of weeks. This is episode 08. And we are very close to finishing. We did a huge reading today, going through all of them. And now we are refining. We're getting it really close to its end. So what kind of fan fiction do you write, Phoenix? And welcome to The Outside In. We stream live every Tuesday morning, early in the morning, before work, and we get after it together as a community. We were here at the very end of Myth 5 is what we were working on. And Phoenix, I spent the entire weekend in New Orleans in a writing retreat. I wrote nonstop. I've been in a writing workshop all year with a bunch of other writers. And we got it to a point where we're like really trying to get it to the end here, really trying to finish it, deliver it. I went to Vanderbilt University and I have a poetry professor I love there. I'm trying to get it to her. I used to write X-readers on Wattpad in middle school, but now I'm working on actual ship work. Okay, so what are you working on now? Ship work. Spill more tea. We're a bunch of writers in here. A lot of people wake up early with me. It's a little quiet now. It was a little bit bigger earlier, but we have a bunch of writers in the group and a little private Telegram community. There's some links on YouTube where people wake up early on Tuesdays and write alongside, right? So it's really an encouraging space for people to pursue their dreams, their own writing projects. Obviously, most people are not writing quirky cosmogonic mythologies for fantasy worlds, but there are a lot of people writing things. And it's good to find time in the mornings before work for all of us to kind of get after it. And so that is what we are working on. Phoenix says, it's a Bloody Mary work. Ryland Grace from Project Hail Mary, ex Simon from Iron Lung. Love Iron Lung. I've been doing more research on cults and cult structures for Simon's character. I love that. I'm very interested in people's belief systems, people's ideologies. That is what fascinates me, and a huge part of this project I'm working on of my own cosmogonic myth is recognizing how important people's elemental stories about how the universe came to be, how that ends up informing who they are and how they believe their own role, what they believe their own role is in the universe. So I love that. It seems really exciting. I'll shoot you a follow on. Do you ever stream on Twitch, or you just like to check in on other people? If so, I can shoot you a follow on Twitch after I get off. We've been writing a couple hours now, 3 hours. I'm losing a bit of steam, but I'm trying to push through here. I do not stream. I used to, but I don't anymore. Social anxiety is a bitch. Yeah, it's hard. I think first couple of months of just being in public and putting myself out there was really hard. Now I just love it, honestly. Truthfully, it feels less lonely. Different homies swing by all the time to say hi, and I get to speak with them in ways that I may not have otherwise. So I've started to really love it. I think I've been writing for so long. I've got well over 10,000 hours experience. I've written a book, a script, a board game, so I have a lot of experience, and so I feel comfortable writing kind of in public with my screen shared. I do recognize that that's kind of a strange thing. Most people would not feel as comfortable with, but I dropped you a follow. Thank you, Phoenix Flame. I haven't invested so much in my Twitch presence, but I am going to be making a press on that probably in the next 2 weeks, filling out all the panels and everything like that. I've just been clicking the dual stream and hoping for the best. The primary community is on YouTube right now. Also, as a pre-T trans man, I'm envious of your beard. I appreciate that, brother. Pre-T trans man, so you're just getting into the thick of it. Congratulations on recognizing who you are and what you want. And yeah, this beard, I love it. It's been over a year, almost a year and a half. I've been working on it. I put all this beard oil and I smell it all day. When I'm writing, I'm going like this. I'm going for like a young Zeus. That's the energy I'm going for from a look perspective. I love this mythology stuff, and I love having a beard. I have to say, have you got any? Oh, you haven't started tea yet. When do you have a plan to start tea? Like, is it coming? I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Start getting the mustache coming in. This is a super LGBT friendly stream, by the way. Phoenix, you are beyond welcome. We've got a lot of queer folks hanging around, and it's great. 2 eyes to 4 eyes, 2 eyes to 4 tongues. I think this works. I don't think I'd be able to handle the sensory input of a beard, but I want to have the face shaving problem, and I'm not able to get on tea yet, as the people I live with would most likely kick me out if I start tea. Gotta wait till I move out. It sounds like you might be young, so I really love young people and want to help young people as much as I can. So good luck with that. I'm sorry to hear that you're living in a circumstance where you don't feel like you can fully be yourself. And I am excited for your transformation. Once you do start tea, I think it's going to be cool to start seeing the muscle coming on and the mustache. So how long you think you're going to be stuck where you're living? Where can you, I'm 19, so young adult. Yeah. You don't, yeah, 19 is very young. 19 is very young, my friend. Very young. Very young. I am 33, so I'm not an old buck necessarily. I still feel I'm still young in this writing world that we're in. Like I'm still very much young, but 19 definitely constitutes as young. I really try to help people in their late teens, early 20s as much as I can. She dances, twirls, a day turns to a dusk. A sun figures his 2 eyes, 2 eyes to 4 eyes. He, 4 eye, 4 eye seeks more. That works. You're 4 years younger than my mother. Wow, you got a young mom too. I'm sorry. I'm really sad to hear that you don't think you can start it until you move out. I feel like your hormones are going to be going nuts, and like once it starts, it's going to be a very emotional time, and being around people who you don't know if they're supportive, I feel like that could be really scary. So wouldn't definitely see why you would want to wait, but I'm really excited for your transformation. I feel like that's going to be really exciting. One random fact, and these are so different, and I don't have gender dysphoria or anything, but my dad is a urologist, and he offers like people with testosterone replacement therapy and stuff. And I see these guys in their 40s, like once they get on it, their lives change. They get so much more energy. They're getting more muscle. So I've always been kind of stoked for the time when I hop on some tea. Obviously, I have normal levels now, and you don't want to do it until you start to decrease. But seeing the level up people go on, men go on when they start taking tea is pretty fucking amazing. I can't move out until I get on SSI. What's SSI? I'm anxious to get. I don't know what SSI is. Mind letting me know? Aspire, clash, 4 eye and 4 tongue. Aspire, twist betwixt them. Clash, a brother and a brother. To top aspire. Four eyes nourished, 4 eyes strong. Four eye triumphs over 4 eye, 4 tongue forfeits unto. Triumphs over his brother, forfeits under his brother. 4 eye triumphs over 4 tongue. Triumphs over his brother, forfeits under his brother. Four-tongue falls beneath. Supplemental security income. I can't work officially due to my mental health issues. I hope you get that SSI then. I hope that you can get through that process and start getting that income. I think you won't be able to move out until you get that. So good luck with that. I bet it's a gnarly process, especially with this administration and everything like that. But I think the argument that you really need to get out of your house, I hope should go a long way towards you finding that. Do you think you would want to live alone? You think you would want to live with other people, maybe queer people, young people, to be out and about? I have a lawyer. Dope. Nice. Lawyer up, Phoenix. Lawyer up. I also love Phoenix, the image of the Phoenix. I'm really, the idea of cyclical death and rebirth. And life from ashes, ashes as a sort of fertile soil for the next regeneration. Also, you'll see in this mythology, even we have some death and rebirth where you come back a little bit different. You're the same, but a little bit different, like a Gandalf the Grey, Gandalf the White sort of situation. since we're talking here, Phoenix, you can see that in this part where essentially we have a sun, we have a light that gets devoured by a black hole. It gets devoured by a black hole, and when it starts as a fire white, and then when it emerges as the sun, it starts as a light, but then it emerges after under all that pressure at the center of a black hole. It emerges as a golden sun versus white light. So that is an example of a sort of phoenix. I don't want to live alone. That sounds scary to me. Yeah, I personally like living alone, and I'm 33 though. And I think it's a different phase. I find it to be kind of liberating, but I think when you're young, and you're wrestling with your new identity and like, trying on different things. When you're 19, you're not even just being trans. Like when you're 19, like you have to try on different identities. You have to try on different interests, different communities. And so I think being around people and exploring that and seeing how they react to you is really important. I think it really is really important to be around people during that period of time. And, in college, I feel like I was, so I grew up Orthodox Jewish, and I went to a yeshiva growing up in high school. And I do feel that going to college and interacting with people from around the world, like it was really hard first semester, like really whacked me in the face. I think harder than others. I think I really struggled that first semester. But it was like a fast iteration of trying on different versions of myself during those couple of years. So would you ever consider going to school, higher ed? I have social needs that are not being met. I'd like to have someone to talk to. Being alone all the time would drive me insane. Yeah. And I tend to be a loner, and I think I'm trying to get out of that phase myself, Phoenix. Spent a long time being a loner this last year. I even went to Athens this year to study mythology for 2.5 months. And the first 6 weeks, I was so happy to be alone. I was like, everybody leave me alone. I just want to do my myths. And by the end, it got dark. It got really lonely. It got really lonely for me. And it made me... So I went early. I left early for Athens, because I was so excited to go. And then I came back a couple days early. I was ready to see people. Athens, Greece. Yeah. I went to Athens to start working on these myths, and to study mythology, to study the Odyssey, to study the Iliad, to study Socrates, to study Plato's Timaeus, which, I don't know if you guys know this, but Plato has a brilliant cosmogonic myth that he wrote for how the universe came about. Essentially, there is this sort of creator, and this creator is so good that he could never be envious. He could never be desirous of anything except that he wants other people to be more like it. So he creates things that will aspire to be more like it, and sets the rhythm of the sun and the stars. A truly beautiful cosmogony from Plato. Plato's a pretty brilliant guy. Big fan. I love to go to Greece, specifically Ithaca. I'm obsessed with Greek stories. Yeah, me too. Ithaca would be cool. I've never been to Ithaca. Maybe I should have gone. But yeah, the Greek myths are the GOAT. They really are great. They really are exceptional. I would say the Iliad is probably my favorite. I think the idea of Kleos, K-L-E-O-S, immortal glory after death, and the decision that Achilles makes. Achilles is given a choice: die in a war you don't believe in, but be remembered forever as the greatest Greek to ever live, the greatest soldier, or live a nice life on an island full of lots of lovely ladies. And he chooses to fight. He chooses to go. The only problem would be I'm picky with food, and I've never had Mediterranean food before. Mediterranean food is fucking amazing though. So good. You ever had hummus or anything like that? Feta cheese, and all the stuff is really fresh and caught right there, and they really take their food seriously. I think you would really like it. And you can find a lot of American food in Greece, and it's so affordable. Holy shit, it's affordable in Athens. It's zenith, her nadir, a heat, its glow. Four-tongue falls beneath a spire. Four-tongue falls beneath. Okay, from its zenith, from her nadir, a pain. Nope, I've had feta cheese. It's a bit too strong for me, but that's all I've had. Yeah, I see that. You get to really like it. So, what we're talking about here, Phoenix, is we have these two brothers, and one brother is born at dawn and one is born at dusk, and they're entirely identical except for that fact, but it ends up having huge implications for the rest of their lives. The being born at dawn means that the brother on this left side is able to drink, wakes up, opens his eyes and sees a full day ahead of him. He gets a full day. Whereas on the flip side, from her nadir, the brother who was born at dusk opens his eyes and sees a full night. And when they drink their mother's milk, a day milk is thick and nourishing and sweet, whereas a night's milk is salty, thin and briny. And so when the two brothers collide, the brother who is nourished and strong because he got to drink the good milk is able to triumph over the brother who is famished and frail, right? And we argue then from its zenith, from her nadir. So this word nadir means like the bottom of the abyss. It's the exact opposite of a zenith. We talk about the origin of good and evil. So listen for a sec here. From the pinnacle of glory, from its zenith, from light's height, the brother who was fortunate beholds his brother's misfortune and is ached by compassion. Compassion aches him, and this, we argue, is the origin of goodness. From the depths of despair, from her nadir, from the depths, a pain, Fortum beholds his brother. He beholds the fortune of his brother, how lucky his brother was, and spite pains him. It really pains him. And so that is the origin of evil, we're arguing, is the spite, because it was never fair. It was never fair. It was only chance in one circumstance that one brother got to drink good milk and the other brother had to drink other milk. Is this poetry? Yes, this is 100% poetry. We are writing the mythology. We are writing in a mythopoetic register. So, I've written a book and I've written a board game and I've written a script that are not in this mythic register, but this mythology as a founding stone for a fantasy world is written in a poetic language. And I have written poetry kind of my whole life. I started writing at 14, 15, and I took a bunch of poetry classes at school. Poetry is something I'm very interested in, and I like the muscularity of it. I like how every word matters. I like that how it comes off your tongue and how it hums matters. I think it's really beautiful. I am starting, I've been working on this all year since like February, and I am trying to wrap it up soon. And I am interested in getting back into some normal writing. I do miss my dialogue. I miss, setting bigger word counts, sitting down and being like, okay, I'm gonna hit 1,500 words and just bang it out. This whole thing is 1,600 words, like the whole myth, the whole cosmogony, like roughly the length of a Cat in the Hat. And so you can spend all day working on a couple stanzas and just get like 40 words done. And I think I am ready for that next phase. That's cool. I'm not really interested in writing my own story. I like my fan fiction. Respect to those who can do it. Yeah, I think it's cool to know what you are and what you aren't. And it's cool to know what being a writer is something, for one, it demands a huge amount of sacrifice, and it's extremely lonely, and it takes years to get any good. So, unless it summons you beyond where you couldn't do anything else, I would say, fan fiction is probably the move.
For eye beholds, he is for tongue. I don't like this. I'm surprisingly good at writing for a novice, but I've been reading since I was little, so I've kind of absorbed a bunch of very descriptive writing styles that have made my own writing style. I love that, and I think reading is the key. And I think actually just getting in there and doing it and getting in the game and writing fan fiction is how you actually see it. So I love that, and you should have confidence in your own writing. Don't let anybody tell you shit. If you like it, it's probably fucking good. Most people kind of hate their own writing, so you should have confidence. You should be proud. You should share. You should read. He for tongue, a son accursed. He for eye, a son blessed. My brother, born Adam, only chance. Me, born Adam. I would rather be judged by strangers than people who know me personally. I think, yeah, it is tougher to share with people who are with you, who care, but I do think that there's something. I think I'm actually a little bit the opposite these days. You know, the people who are close to me, the people who love me, have known that I've been writing since I was 14, 15. So, 2 decades now. And they really want me to win, and they're really encouraging, and they know my talent. And so it's easier for me to share with them than it is for me to reach a point where I say, this is done and ready for me to put my name on it and submit it out into the world. And so I would say I have a little bit the opposite problem as you, Phoenix, where I struggle to say this is good enough that it's done for people who aren't going to give me the benefit of the doubt. But I am getting over that. We do want this to be 4 pieces, right? 4 eye, 4 told, right? So it should be 4 pieces, 4 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's too many then. We're going to get into some of the nitty gritty here, team. So what we're saying here is that that the 2 brothers are looking at each other and they're speaking out loud. Okay. The good brother is talking about the curse of his other brother, and he's comparing them. He's saying, it was never fair. It's only chance, one circumstance that one is fortunate and the other misfortunate.
1, 2. We need 4 stanzas because 4 eye and 4 tongue, right? The form must inform the poem as well and the meaning. I think we can get rid of this one. For eye beholds his brother. I can understand that for you based on what you're writing right now, but I write smut. I love that. You write smut. Are you, so you're trans man, pre-T, you are interested in women, you are open-minded. What kind of, and is your smut aligned with your own sexuality or you try to hop into the character's perspective and channel their sexuality? My brother, born at dusk. The thing is that the one chance and one circumstance is where it was born. Before I beholds his brother, for time behold my brother. My brother born at dawn, only chance. My brother born at dusk, my brother born at dawn. So look at what we're saying here, right? From its zenith, from the top of the goodness, the fortunate brother looks at his other brother and he's comparing them. And he's recognizing that it was only chance. It was only one circumstance. It was only chance. It was only one circumstance that he was unfortunate and I was fortunate. And we need to pick the sequence with which we make these comparisons very open. Phoenix Flame says, I'm pansexual and I just go off the character's sexuality. If they don't have a confirmed sexuality, I make them gay because it's fun. Obviously, if they don't have a confirmed sexuality, you make them queer. Of course. I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, that's the move. I think if you're writing fanfic, it's good to get into their head, but who knows, what some of these characters would be willing to try. I need to focus for a second, Phoenix. I need to fix this stanza, so I'll respond to you in roughly 2 minutes, okay? For I beholds his brother. I want the one circumstance to be about dawn and dusk. Why? Because that is the singular circumstance that resulted in all this subsequent, differences in their lives, in their blessings, in their curses. But at the same time, I prefer the rhythm of only chance, one circumstance to one circumstance, only chance. Well, let me try that. One circumstance, only chance. One circumstance, only chance. Only chance, one circumstance. I can try it. Is there anything else that could go first besides dusk and dawn? Let's try one circumstance, only chance. switch the order. I know that seems like it makes no change, but it really does, and you'll see it. One circumstance. Only chance. One circumstance. Only chance. Before I behold my brother born at dusk, one circumstance. It's not good. We got to go back. It's only chance, one circumstance, not the other way around. Had to try it, but only chance, one circumstance. What's the first thing he sees? Only chance. I think it's okay. Only chance he was born at dusk and I was born at dawn. And it's only because of one circumstance prior that he's famished and I'm nourished. It's only... Now the question is, do we say my brother again? Or my brother born at dusk, only chance. Me born at dawn. My brother famished, one circumstance. Me nourished. Foretongue is the darkness, only chance. Me beautiful. Me one circumstance. Me, comma, he. Okay, that works. For I forgoes his self to allay his ache, to redeem his brother. He descends unto a night, falls in unto her nadir, for then forsakes his self to escape his pain, to escape his self. Two synonyms, two syllables. I was thinking we could go for flee in the second one, but escape. I think escape is the right word. He descends unto a night, falls in unto her nadir, falls out unto a darkness. Team, my eyes are getting a little bit blurry, and I'm not making it fast enough progress on this. I think we've been running 3.5 hours. I think this is a natural place to stop. We are going to be bringing the final version of this next week. Hopefully it will be done. Depends on, it'll be at least done to the point where I'm going to send it to my poetry professor from Vanderbilt. So it will be at that level that you guys will be reading the same thing that she's going to read. We're going to iron out just some final bits in these myths of 6 and 7. We just have some small tweaks left to 6 and 7, which were primarily written this past weekend. Do I have a Discord server? Not an active one, but I do have a Telegram community where I provide daily insights on mythology, eschatology, which is like end games of religions, and poetics. So, Phoenix, I know you're in a bit of a tight spot financially. Hop on my YouTube channel, EI Warner, same thing. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I'll get you 7 months free for my Telegram. You're too young to be paying for it. And if you ever find an issue where you can't pay for it, you can hit me up after those 7 months. But I think you might find it quite valuable. That's where we're mostly at. I was finding that I had a Discord, but it was feeling a little bit empty. I am a gamer. And I do think Discord could be great, but right now I'm investing all my energy in keeping this smaller Telegram community alive and energized and full of interesting insights. So it's been going for 50 days and we have 50 insights out, INN sites, where every single morning at 7:07 a.m., you will get a voice note from me talking about something to do with teaching you something about morality, mythology, etc. And that is the community I'm invested in most. We have small viewership. We average around 5 to 10 people. So it's not a huge community, and I was feeling the Discord was a bit like cobwebs. I could make a Discord for you if you ever wanted one. Yeah, shoot me a note. Let's talk about it. I would need to keep it active. I feel like an empty Discord wouldn't be great for me. But I am a gamer, and it would be great to play with different people from the outside in community. So, team, let's review what we did today, and then we'll wrap up. Right, so we have been working on this myth since February. We've been doing it live on stream for 8 episodes now. We are on Outside In, episode 08. We have 7 poems that make one myth, a cosmogonic mythology with Earth as the protagonist. Almost all of these, I would say, are done. Done until I get any feedback from my poetry professor, my old poetry professor. We have slight tweaks still to make, a few tweaks still to make on 6 and 7, which I will do probably a bit more later tonight. And then by the time we come to next stream, the same version that I will read to you is going to be the same one that my poetry professor is going to read, and she's going to have kind of the final bit of feedback. Now, what do we do after we finish the myths, right? What do you do with 7 poems that tell one mythology? A couple things. Number one, we're going to start hitting pavement in New York City and reading poetry aloud. I really am trying to be a poet in this city. I'm trying to bring a different sort of energy to the game, to people in this age. It's such a weird thing, but we're going to be hitting some poetry readings. What else are we going to do? We're going to start working on an illuminated manuscript. What is that? What's an illuminated manuscript? An illuminated manuscript is one that is essentially like an art book, but with all the words. And if you look at old English texts, remember, like pre-printing press, where each page was really elegantly designed, where the words kind of flow in with different illustrations, and oftentimes the first letter of that of the poem or story is larger. We're going to be making that. It's going to be a limited edition, 77 copies signed by me for the first printing, and try to get something beautiful on your coffee tables. And so those are the immediate next steps after we finish. So we're just a little bit away. I'll shoot you a whisper with my Discord and we can talk about it, because I don't have Telegram. Never mind. I can message you on Twitch. Yeah, perfect. Shoot me a note, whatever. I'll find it over the course of the day. And Telegram is, if you wanted that discount, you would have to download Telegram, but otherwise it's pretty easy. I could send you an invite and get you that discount, Phoenix. So, team, it was a great stream today. Got a bunch of hours of writing in. We wrote till my eyes were blurry and I was just reading the same thing again and again. I'm going to do a little bit more writing this evening. I'm going to be working on getting some clips out, and we will be back next Tuesday, of course, every 7:07 a.m. Eastern time, every single Tuesday. I will be here. I will be writing. I'll be going for it. And with that, I'm going to bid you all Godspeed and good fortune on your adventure.